Chapter 241 A Little Conscientious. Holy Land, Mary Joa, Chamber. The tall walls are covered with intricate patterns, and the dome of the dome seems to be the top of the world. Looking up at the intricate ornamentation, there seems to be no end in sight. The empty hall is shrouded in a solemn atmosphere, and you can hear echoes when you speak loudly. Makes people dare not breathe. 5 old stars around a table facing the gate. Enel walked into it with straight steps, and the sound of footsteps rattled. Having entered the hall, the heavy pressure is blowing towards the face, as if facing the gust of wind. It is almost impossible to breathe. In this empty hall, the aura of the 5 old stars merged into one. The mountains and oceans were as thick as tides. The heartbeat quickened a little bit. Enel was a little nervous, clenching his fists tightly, a few drops of sweat dripping from his palms. The 5 ill-intentioned old men scrutinized him with bladder-like eyes, making Enel's muscles tense. It would be fine if it were just 5 ordinary old men with high weight, but these 5 old men were not ordinary. Enel's knowledge can cover the entire Marijoa, and there are 8 carp-like vitality entrenched here, 2 of which are scattered in the draconian residence of Marijoa. The other 6, right in this hall, right in front of Enel. The 5 old stars are also at the level of generals. Their vitality quality is slightly worse than Garp's, but their vitality is longer than Garp's. If a line is used to describe their vitality, Garp's can see the length and shortness at a glance, while the 5 old stars can't see the end at a glance like the Yangtze and Yellow rivers. Their vitality color is also different from ordinary people. It is blue, that is the color of Tianlong people. There is another person behind the 5 old stars. Enel can perceive his presence, but can't see him. Probably some kind of devil fruit ability. It may be a bodyguard or something, and it is estimated that he should hold an important position in CP0. Faced with 6 general-level guys at once, no one can relax. But Enel has gone through a lot of storms anyway, and this little battle will not scare him. At most, he will fail and die here. Well, yes, he wasn't afraid, he was just a little conscientious. Hem is expected of the highest authority in the world. It's such a terrifying aura, it makes people breathless. Echoes filled the room, and Enel's heart skipped a beat. He didn't dare to speak out loud. If you don't have this courage, how can you suppress this world? The curly-haired 5 old star returned lightly. That's right, you guys are still very tough, so I can rest assured. If it's 5 old men who are dying, then I really have to reconsider whether the ship of the world government is worth it. Sure enough, it is a hero who is a teenager. It is not easy to take back his country at a young age. The bald boss exclaimed a little. You have passed the prize, and let my people live a better life. That is the goal that a king should strive for. I will take up the responsibility that my father failed to fulfill at the beginning, and please take care of you. Enel struggled to portray himself as an ambitious young king who wanted to show off his ambitions. It is easy to control when there are weaknesses, it is easy to drive when there are strengths, and it is easy to speculate when there are goals. What the 5 old stars need is such a person. A madman like a madman or a saint who has no desires, is the most troublesome for them. If you want to deceive others, you must deceive yourself first, and Enel is addicted to this role-playing game. It's like playing a construction game. He himself almost believed that he was such a king. The stability of the world requires the cooperation of all countries, and joint efforts are the right way. Today's sea is too turbulent, which is not conducive to the development of people's livelihood. I hope you can perform your duties well. Not only as the king of the member countries, there is also the obligation of the king to go down to the Chihuahai. Of course, there are too many pirates and I am troubled. I hate those scumbags. I think they are pursuing freedom, but I don't know that their actions are destroying the order of the world. The suffering of the people is caused by them. Come, my father also died at the hands of pirates. In my domain, wanton thugs are absolutely not allowed. Enel wouldn't say anything about Wenris's death at Maro's hands. Just let Flamia take the blame. It's not good for him to speak out about his rift with the Navy at this time. Enel spoke from the king's point of view, trying to win the trust of the 5 old stars. Mary Joa's military strength is terrifying, and the bottom-level combat strength may be relatively small, but the mid to high-end combat strength is almost no less than the naval headquarters assembled during the Top War. The blonde 5 old stars nodded, believing that Anil was recognized. Stop talking nonsense, just sign the documents. The 5 old stars with curly hair pushed a stack of papers to Anil. The basic treaties of all the joining countries are the same, and some special country agreements may be slightly different, but that's mostly it. Anil took the paper and pen and nodded. There are so many documents that Anil is overwhelmed. But it didn't show it at all, scrutinizing all contracts carefully before signing his name. In fact, he didn't even know what he was looking at. Anil was dizzy looking at the densely packed terms. He really is not suitable for brain-burning work. Simplicity and rudeness are his pursuits. In the eyes of the 5 old stars, this carefulness is a signal to seriously develop the country. It shows that Anil approves of their system. Chiwahai's agreement was much simpler. It was just a piece of paper and half-faced words. After all, pirates do not have the patience to say too much. Want to make these rebellious guys really convince? I'm afraid it's a dream. For Shichibukai, it is useless to make them write too many treaties. When Anil came out of the hall, his back was soaked with cold sweat. This time, when he came to Mary Joa, if he did it, he didn't have much confidence in getting out. Although he flies very fast, but who knows what strange guy is here. Looking back at the magnificent palace, it seemed like a crawling beast. Standing in the clouds, looking down at all beings. But this giant beast was old, and it was entangled with numerous scars and heavy pains like maggots on the tarsal bones. This is its final majesty and splendor. A new era is coming, and the changes on the sea will not stop. The torrents of history will wash away the dams that hold back. A storm of ideas is brewing, and the dream of freedom keeps flying. Anil left Marihoa briskly. He got everything he wanted, and he didn't want to stay in a place that made him feel depressed. Spread your wings and dive straight down towards the sea. Chapter 242 Otahime returns. Princess Otahime, who went to Mary Joa alone, has not been heard from for a long time. The entire Mermaid Island was shrouded in an uneasy atmosphere. For the people in Dragon Palace City, these short days were as long as several years. People's endless worries caused several sleepless nights. Even those Murlocs who were a little bit repulsive of humans, who were usually tired of Otoji's preaching of peaceful coexistence with humans, began to miss Otoji's speeches. Otoji loves the people, and she is deeply loved by the people. The gloomy atmosphere grew stronger over time, with worry and anxiety in the air. It was a sunny morning, and the cloudy clouds that shrouded Murloc Island finally dissipated. The holy sunlight breaks through the clouds and spreads the light all over the Mermaid Island. Even the Mermaid Hotel at the bottom can enjoy the warmth of the light. The light on this day is extraordinarily bright. Ogami, I'm back. His Royal Highness. Great, as long as you come back alive, we will. Welcome back, His Highness Otahime ___. The fish people cried with joy. They once thought that Yiji would never come back. At this moment, the joy in their hearts turned into tears and couldn't stop rushing. Surrounded by this huge cheer, Otahime smiled and her heart was filled with happiness. She felt the excitement of the fish people, and she felt the respect of the fish people for her. Being recognized and cared for by others is really a blessing. She is proud of herself for being supported by so many people, and even more proud of herself for bringing hope to the fish people. Otoji held up a piece of paper high. This thin piece of paper was the result of her hard work despite all the dangers for so many days. Very light. Also very thin. However, this small piece of paper is as heavy as 1,000 tons, and what it carries is the dream and hope of the entire Murloc family for thousands of years. What it leads is the future direction of this island. This is a light that illuminates the depths of the cold and dark trenches and brings warmth to the cold bottom of the water. This is the light of hope. But that's just a good hope. The reality is still dark and cruel. Otoji returned to Ryugu Castle surrounded by guards. Mother. 3 small figures rushed towards her, and the 3 brothers of the mermaid prince rushed into her arms as soon as she entered the door. Princess Yiji's health is not good, be careful, Minister Zuo said. Hearing his words, Bai Xing, who also wanted to pounce, stopped. If she didn't pounce, Yiji might really return to the west. It's all right, don't worry, Otoji showed a gentle smile. Welcome back, Your Royal Highness. Minister Zuo saluted respectfully. Welcome back, Mother. Bai Xing bit his fingers, and his big eyes were watery, as if a cloud of tears would fall at any moment. White Star, are you obedient these days? I'm very obedient, I finally see you again, Mom. Bai Xing cried while hugging Yiji. Okay, I have something to say to your father, let's talk at night. Yiji touched Baixing's plump face. Well, Mommy tells us stories at night. It's a word. There was silence in the meeting room after Otahime and Neptune spoke about her experience at Mary Joa. In other words, Bai Xing doesn't need to marry humans. That's great, my Bai Xing baby. Neptune was very happy. Well, the opinions of the Tianlong people can become an important force for us, and the wish to move to the land will definitely come true. Otoji was full of confidence. They thought that with the support of the Draconians, it would be possible to succeed, so Enel's alliance proposal was of no use to them. There is no need to sacrifice the future of Shirahoshi to make Murlocs and humans live in harmony. The beautiful world of mutual understanding is not far away. They are still too optimistic. Even if the Draco people agree with them at the World Conference, they cannot stop humans from rejecting and greedy for them. If there is not enough strength to protect their own people, the Murlocs who migrated to the land just stranded the fish. It is the best target for traffickers. Jinbei sees hope in the handwritten book of the Tenryu people that Otahime obtained. But Shippen is also worried, human beings are not so kind. Anil had arranged for Carter to pick him up near the G1 base before leaving for Marijoa. After flying off the Red Soil continent, he followed the direction indicated by the life card to find Carter. What I saw was the corpse of a sea king, floating on the sea, and the blood stained the large pieces of water. The smell of blood spread, attracting countless predators. The sharks are feasting on the water, which is a rare meal in ordinary times. Carter lay comfortably on the body, a recliner, a parasol, a chilled drink, and a small table. It wears a pair of sunglasses, as if on vacation. From time to time, he took out the sword, cut off large pieces of flesh and blood from the sea kings, and stuffed it into his mouth. Sliced sea kings, the taste is silky and chewy. Carter spoke for it. Hey, cat, get up, take me to Fishman Island. Let's hurry up and finalize the alliance agreement. We have to rely on White Star to find superlarge sea kings. Anil kicked Carter. Anil didn't know yet that Fishman Island was no longer planning to form an alliance with him. Still going to the bottom of the sea as originally planned. Neptune anyway, we can't beat it, let's take it slow. Let me lie down for a while. Carter stretched lazily, narrowed his eyes, and looked drowsy. A lot of time, to squander it. Why go to the dark seabed on such a sunny day? Anil showed no mercy, and directly used the weapon color to kick it into the sea with one kick. This amount of strength is a bit painful for the gifted Carter. Meow. The slightly icy water made Carter shudder and lose sleep. Carter looked at Anil resentfully, with an expression of endless grievances. Those sad little eyes, people can't help but want to care. Anil was expressionless, unmoved by it, staring at Carter. The cold dragon eye and the resentful cat pupil looked at each other, and Carter was soon defeated. Come on, you are the boss and you have the final say. Am I still listening? It pouted and took out the diving cabin aggrieved. Hey Tilda, Neil shook his head. Carter is almost a ball. Neil is deeply worried, so fat, won't he have high blood pressure? Gotta find some work for it, not like a pig every day. Otherwise, you will die sooner or later. Don't blame me, bro, it's for your own good. Carter shuddered and glanced around cautiously. Where did this malice come from? After all, it did not find the source of the chill, and gave Anil a suspicious look. Chapter 243 Alliance Established. When Anil came to Ryugu Castle again to talk with Neptune, Neptune euphemistically expressed their refusal. Really so be it. I hope you can find a suitable land for you to live in. Anil got up and wanted to leave. Land? Otoji's face was clearly worried. It's not just the environment, Jinbei said. If you want to communicate with humans, you can't be too remote. Otherwise, we'll never get to know each other better. Jinbei's words made Otohime's worries even more obvious. Anil was overjoyed. This was a wave of divine assists. It is not easy to find a suitable place. Those lands with better environment and favorable geography have basically been occupied by humans, and no king will share his territory with the Murlocs. Seeing Eiji's embarrassed look, Baixing suddenly gathered up his courage and shouted, "Don't worry about me, Mom. I don't hate Big Brother. I'm willing to be his bride." Baixing. What a mother's good child. Eiji sobbed. After a lot of discussions, the two sides finally accepted the alliance. In terms of discussing specific interests, Neptune and Enel disagreed. None of them can negotiate. One is the upright king, and the other is a pirate who is not very good at conspiracy. The two have been wrangling for a while, like chickens pecking at each other. In the end, I was impatient, and each took a step back and directly took an intermediate value. The two sides signed an alliance agreement, a historic step. Carter rolled his eyes, squeezing the cat. If you want to open up a submarine trade route, it is an essential step to clean up the sea beasts along the way. Enel was ready to give Carter the job. It's impossible to kill without thinking. If you kill a sea beast, you will come back again. Carter has the talent to tame sea beasts, and he is also a sea beast. The rule among beasts is that the winner is king. The sea beasts taught by Carter will generally submit to its subordinates. The beasts who don't accept it just need to communicate with each other kindly. If the communication is not enough once, just feed the fish directly. Carter is busy. Obahime always felt that Neil was a little strange, but after finding no obvious maliciousness, she gave up. No, there is still evil. Neither against Fishman Island nor against Shirahoshi, but against her own malice. Is it because I know my ability to perceive the hearts of others? Eiji thought. She didn't know how to persuade her, so she just dragged on. It doesn't matter how she is, as long as Baixing can be happy and Fishman Island has a bright future, then even if she dies, she can rest in peace. Although Anil really wanted to kill Otahime, he wouldn't do it directly. There is no need to get your hands dirty. Why bother to have someone do it for you? This is reflected in the advantages of the traveler's information. Anil knew that on this island, there were still a group of guys who didn't like Otohime. Let them jump out on their own. After they attacked Otoji, and then started to get rid of them, it not only solved Otoji who was in the way, but also had a reasonable reason to kill this gang of dangerous elements who would hinder the business. Kill two birds with one stone. There is always the possibility that the lie will be exposed, and he does not want to take risks, which will only increase the risk of fighting with the fish people. Pushing the boat smoothly, then no one will notice anything wrong. Obahime's behavior plunged the entire Fishman Island into a sea of carnival. Hope fills everyone's heart. Some people are happy, but there are always people who are not happy. Those Murloc gangsters who grew up in Mermaid Street and inherited the Murloc's hatred of human beings all dismissed Otahime's behavior. What are you kidding? How can Murlocs live peacefully with inferior races like humans? Said a Murloc with many black and white stripes, representing tattoos on his right leg and a tattoo of O2 on his chest. This is the Japanese shark man, Jao. Seeing that no one paid attention to him, Jao said, "This is all within my expectations." He tried his best to maintain his arrogant self-esteem. Eat their minced meat. Huo Dharma bounced around in place. The King Squid Man Icarus Musi said, "You are saying something, Hody, what should we do?" HMPH boring fellows. Those who dare to propose peaceful coexistence with humans are traitors of the Murlocs. They will be punished. I absolutely do not allow Murlocs to live with humans. The thought of someone willing to live with those who are in I'm sick of being together with inferior races who can't even breathe in water. Hody sullenly said. Harmon, it looks like Boss Hody has a plan. Hammond lowered his hat. Gertrude Square. Yuji stood on the high platform, holding the handwritten book she had worked so hard to get. A word of the world nobles, even in the meeting of the kings, the world meeting, can exert great power. This is the handwritten book of the world nobles, and the content is. For the friendly exchanges between the Murlocs and humans, I also agree with the signed comments submitted. That is to say, when more signatures can be submitted at the World Conference, this piece of paper will give us more power to show. Immigration will definitely be able to do it. Those Tianlong people actually support the signature, said a Murloc who was watching. It's so complicated. Sitting on a roof and silently watching Otoji, Neil laughed, ahahaha, really naive. It's too stupid to pin your dreams on a piece of paper. It's too stupid to think it's a mere handwriting. Books can change the views of the kings of the world. Anil felt that his pants were a little wet, and when he looked back, he found that Carter's saliva kept running down the roof like a stream. Enel. Seemingly aware of Enel, Odahime looked at him, and then looked around at the Murlocs in the square. She is waiting for the decision of fate, and she does not know what her people think. For the human world, in the end it is mostly disgust or yearning. After the silence, enthusiastic cheers broke out. Seeing the fish people who rushed towards her and cast their autographs, Otoji burst into tears of excitement. Everyone, don't crowd, line up and come in order. Hey, don't push me tilde. Let me let it go tilde. His Royal Highness, such a small box is simply not enough. The escorts had to be dispatched to maintain order at the scene. Ah. After 7 years, her hard work finally bore fruit on this day. The people all support her from the bottom of their hearts. Chapter 244 Otahime assassinated. The signatures fell into the box one by one like snowflakes, and soon they were covered with a thick layer. Gertrude Square was crowded with people. A few days later, the enthusiasm of the people did not diminish, but intensified. They gleefully cast their autographs, as if it really would allow them to not be discriminated against in the human world. In the dark, conspiracies are brewing. Under the tight guard of the guards, the signature box caught fire without warning. Damn it! What the hell is going on? Maintain good order, and quickly put out the fire. No suspects approaching, shouted Hody Jones. Standing in front of the burning signature box, Hody evoked a smile. He is the elite of the escort team, so he is also involved in the important thing of guarding the signature box. No suspicious elements, of course. Because Hody Jones, who was hiding among the guards, was the main culprit. And the human who set the fire was just a pawn he hired. He is an admirer of the Murloc Aaron, who hates human beings and hates human beings. It is the product of the hatred and distortion of the Murlocs. He is more extreme than Aaron. Aaron would never take action against his fellow Murlocs, but Hody, who is mentally distorted, will not spare even his compatriots. Those Murlocs who disagree with his philosophy and are close to humans are his enemies. He will not be soft-hearted. Yuji, this princess who advocates peaceful coexistence with human beings and mutual understanding is the biggest threat to Hody. Hody will not tolerate the Murlocs approaching humans step by step. Odahime, who is promoting this policy, is the person he wants to go out the most right now. He not only wanted to get rid of Otoji, but also wanted to use this opportunity to worsen the relationship between the Murlocs and the humans. In the panic, Odahime also came to the scene. Her treasure at the time of the autograph. Even if you die, you won't let go. Otoji looked in one direction as if she had a premonition, and there, Hody was grinning. Boom! The gunshots sounded, and a large group of blood flowers bloomed on her chest. The bright red flowers that bloomed were so poignant and beautiful, Otoji fell softly to the ground. Vitality passed quickly, and Hodi's marksmanship was not at the level of Anal, and he hit the key with one shot. Atsuki, your life is short. Hodi smiled happily. Atsuhime, who calls revenge against humans a sin, trumpets all over the island to get along with humans, and turns these into reality, is really annoying to him. A bigger panic emerged in the square. His Royal Highness Otahime was shot. Who did it? Protect the members of the royal family. The sniper is nearby. Jinbei made a decisive decision. Everyone, leave the square. Your Highness, Princess, please hold on. The right minister dragged Otoji's back. First aid team, quick. Minister Zuo hurriedly called in the medical team. Bai Xing stared blankly at this scene, at a loss. That guy Hodi did a good job. The guy who made me feel troublesome is dead. Anal stood up, ready to act. Anal wants to use Hodi's hand to get rid of Ottoheim, and at the same time wants to find out the murderer of Ottoheim, so that he can get the gratitude of Fishman Island. And deal with these unstable factors. Princess Ottoji. It's a big mess now. Oh ho ho ho, how unfortunate it is. Vander Dyken looked a little gloating. Wow, an astonishing cry resounded through the sea. The invisible sound waves that only Neptunes can hear spread out. At this moment, the whole sea became restless. The king is calling us. The king's call. Is it finally here? Our king. Let's go, let's assemble. Hey, Carter was tense all over. His hair was standing upright, and he looked in the direction of Bai Xing vigilantly. Carter has a unique sense of things about Aquaman. Anal's body froze, and cold sweat broke out. He didn't know where the danger was coming from, so he looked at Xixing and then at the deep sea beyond Fishman Island. Bai Xing's cry made him sweat, and he felt like a catastrophe was imminent. Hey, really, is it so scary? Enel was very sensitive to danger, and he knew that Shirahoshi's ability was probably activated. But in order for him to have such a strong sense of crisis, it means that the deep-sea monster that is about to descend upon the call of Bai Xing is extremely powerful. Except for Enel, no one paid attention to Shirahoshi. Now Otahime's matter has attracted everyone's attention. Only he knew that the most terrifying weapon in the world was about to show its power. Tremble. Slight trembling. The whole mermaid island is shaking. The water became turbulent and slapped the island. But in the chaotic square, no one seemed to notice this anomaly. The tremors kept getting stronger, and the sea water changed from small splashes to huge waves. What's the matter? What happened? The coast of Fishman Island, which has always been calm, now has an abnormality. When the fish people looked at these abnormal phenomena, they suddenly had a bad feeling. The shaking of the island was so obvious that even Jinbei felt it. What's the matter? Is there an earthquake? Meow. Carter's shrill cry sounded, and it exploded. Although Hody Jones was a little confused, he still carried out his plan in an orderly manner. What he didn't find was that all this was filmed by the video phone bug that Anal placed on the side. With the signal, it was played on the screens all over Mermaid Island. Anal tracked the human, placed a video phone bug at the place where they agreed to meet in advance, and broadcast this to all parts of Fishman Island. With Enel's influence, the timing of this event is of course different from the original. Megalo wouldn't be seeing Horty's conspiracy in the coral either. Enel wants to expose Hody, only on his own. Otherwise, there is no reason to say it, and it will only arouse the ill feelings of the fish people. Damn Hody. To actually give His Highness Otoji. Bastard, where is that guy? The Murlocs searched angrily. Jinbei clenched his fists. He had already realized that Hody was a restless guy, but he didn't expect him to do such a thing. He blamed himself a little. If he could have been more careful, such a thing would not have happened. Damn it, it's my poor supervision. The Minister of Right felt regretful. Damn it, I'm going to kill him. Neptune picked up the trident, furious. The entire Fishman Island fell into an uproar. And Hody, who didn't know that his conspiracy had been exposed, was triumphantly cleaning up the human being he hired and treated as a scapegoat on the hill. Soon, before the shock of Otoji's assassination passed, another thing that shocked everyone happened. Boom! A loud bang resounded like thunder. An incomparably huge body emerges from the sea. Chapter 245 Poseidon. Mermaids can communicate and chat with fishes. In the legends of their royal family, there is a person every few hundred years who can communicate with the huge Sea King. When the mermaid who can talk to the Sea Kings appears, the world will usher in a huge change. This merman with incredible talent has been born. Today is the reappearance of this power for hundreds of years. Huge figure, covering the sky. A huge shadow shrouded the entire Fishman Island. Everyone looked at the monster emerging from the sea in astonishment, with an unbelievable look on his face. This is Sea Kings. Enel was in a cold sweat, and his heart skipped a few beats. This revolves around the 5 superlarge Sea Kings of Murloc Island, each of which is a quarter the size of a Murloc Island. That huge size has a great visual impact. This kind of guy, I am afraid that a single impact can smash the Mermaid Island. In this deep sea, there is absolutely no chance of winning against him. Jinbei was stunned. He stared at the Sea Kings, and suddenly thought of a legend. Hody, Daikin, and Otoji also thought of that distant story. Invariably look at the White Star. How are these guys? Enel asked. It's very strong, but it's far worse than that one. The power is not at the same level. Carter stared at these Sea Kings with fierce eyes. It seems that they sensed Carter's hostility, and the Sea Kings also cast their sights here. Stared at by those eyes that were bigger than a warship, Enel felt a little nervous. Mainly because of the location. Here is the deep sea, and he is not very open to it. If it was on the sea, Enel would probably have planned to add a meal. The state of the Sea Kings is somewhat abnormal. Seeing Otoji being shot, Shirahoshi was stimulated and unwittingly exerted the power of Sea King. Call the Sea Kings here. While she was sad, she had the urge to destroy. Like a child who gets angry and wants to smash something. Her emotions are rendered to the Sea Kings, making them prone to attack. But she did not issue a clear order, so the Neptune did not move, just stared at the White Star, and once there was any order, they would obey it unconditionally. The call still didn't stop, and the Sea Kings kept coming, densely packed, surrounding the entire Mermaid Island. Carter is a little cowardly. If it is the 5 Sea Kings just now, Carter still has the confidence to deal with it a few times. There may even be a counterkill. But this terrifying amount can make anyone's scalp tingle. Nearly 100 Sea Kings, many of which are super large, this force is enough to shake the naval headquarters. Enel and Carter looked at each other, understood, and ran to Shirahoshi in unison. Come on, attack if you have the ability. We will stay by your boss's side and die together. Both Enel and Carter felt the hostility of the Sea Kings. Most of them were aimed at Carter, but Enel was caught in the fish pond. Hey, cat, what's the matter with you? Why do I feel like those Sea Kings want to kill you one by one? Could it be that you killed that Sea King and still smelled? I don't know either, but there is a legend in our family. It is said that every few hundred years, there will be a supreme delicacy bestowed by the gods. That is the gift of the world. It is also the temptation of the devil. Only the bravest and most powerful deep-water-only cats can break through the obstacles of giant beasts and eat that delicious food. Carter said, these guys are our enemies. Enel stumbled, and your feelings are specifically against the Sea Kings. After eating the gift of the world you mentioned, what are the benefits? For example, evolution. Enel asked. Benefits. It's delicious. It's said that it's a delicacy that makes cats die without regrets. I wish I could taste it one day. Carter kept his saliva and glanced at Enel disdainfully. How can this cat's heart for food be tainted by other purposes? Just because it's delicious. Stop, who? Seeing that the Sea Kings did not move, the guards also remembered their current responsibilities and shouted. Adu and stop me, I'm the future husband of your princess. Enel looked at the metallic scales of the Sea Kings, and didn't stop. Catch him. Huh, it's not me. Enel turned around and found that the guard was not chasing him. Which is Vanderdecken. The tiger shark man, possessing the ability to target fruit, has a bad heart for Bai Xing. Anal was not busy trying to kill him. He was going to keep Vanderdecken, so for her safety, Neptune would not let her out of the hard shell tower. A lonely, ignorant princess, the difficulty of the strategy is greatly reduced. I believe that at that time, as long as I often find time to visit her on Mermaid Island, and occasionally take her out to play, then Shirahoshi will develop a dependence on Anal. Ha ha hey hey, Neil sneered, his eyes curved into crescent shapes. Meow. Carter glanced at Enel and moved away without a trace. Idiots are contagious. When he heard the words of his future husband, Vanderdecken stopped for a while, turned around and took a deep look at Enel, keeping his appearance firmly in his heart. Enel gave him a defiant look in disdain. The Murloc guards did not stop Anal, and they basically knew about such a combination of one person and one cat these days. Neptune just looked at Fishman Island quietly, not moving, as if it came out to be a background template. Xing, don't cry, darling. Enel reached out to touch Bai Xing's head, and found that even the young Bai Xing was much bigger than him. I can't get enough of this. The hand stopped awkwardly in midair. Mother, are you all right? Let's go to the hospital for treatment. I must take revenge, Shark Star said angrily. Smash that bastard Hody to pieces. Come by my side, my angels. Otoji was very weak, her voice was barely audible. Don't show such a terrible expression, everyone's signature. Let me, so happy so happy. Don't hold grudges, no matter who the culprits are, who they are, where they come from. Don't be angry for me, don't let hatred take over your hearts. Be strong, Shirahoshi. Otoji looked at Bai Xing with a complicated look. There is apology, there is kindness, and there is concern. She knew Bai Xing's ability and understood how powerful it was. If she stayed on Fishman Island all her life, no one would know that it would be fine, but once found out, it would involve her in the whirlpool of fighting. And she, because of her incompetence, made Shirahoshi marry Enel. If Shirahoshi is just an ordinary mermaid and doesn't dislike Enel, then it shouldn't be a problem. But Bai Xing is the ancient weapon Poseidon, then things are completely different. White star in politics, very dangerous. I can only hope that Enel doesn't know. But when she thought of the darkness in Enel's heart, she always had a bad premonition. White star, be strong Enel, he is very dark, you have to work hard, try to eliminate the huge darkness in his heart. Yeah, Bai Xing bit his chin and nodded heavily. You guys take good care of Shiro, Otoji said to the three mermaid princes. Odahime's voice became weaker and weaker, and then she closed her eyes with a serene expression. Wow, a bitter cry resounded through the square. Chapter 246 Silly Hody. Otoji died, the princess who worked hard for the future of the fish people, eventually died at the hands of her own clan. Mother, I will collect the burned autographs again. We will definitely become great warriors like our father, and we will protect Shirahoshi with our own lives. So please don't worry. Shark Star knelt on the ground, tears streaming down her face. Look, it's a human who killed our princess. It was a human who assassinated Princess Odahime _. Hody was just on the coral hill and didn't see the video broadcast by Enel. The resentful shouts in the imagination did not come, and everyone in the square stared at him, killing intent boiling. Okay, what's wrong? Is this script wrong? At this time, shouldn't everyone say that they want to kill all human beings? It may be that my agitation is not enough, let's work harder. Humans, the desire to live with us trampled on the ground and took the lives of those we love just like this. Say, can we bear it? Can we love such a hideous human being? Such an ugly, filthy human being. Hody grabbed the hired pirate by the neck and lifted him up, shouting to the sky. The place was still silent. Hody was a little embarrassed, and then the embarrassment was followed by a touch of anger. I've been giving speeches so hard, how come no one cooperated and applauded? What about your anger? What about your hatred of humanity? Why are you looking at me with those dead fish eyes that want to kill? It's my delusion. Must be looking at this human. Well, it must be like this. The mermaids were stunned by Hody Jones' shameless performance, and they didn't know what to say for a while. Xiaoxing was furious, assassinated her mother, burned her beloved signature, and dared to put the blame on human beings so brazenly to destroy her long-cherished wish. How shameless this is! Hody Jones, Sharkstar growled, taking the trident of the guard standing beside him. Shut up, you bastard. Although I don't know what happened to the video, but we all saw it. Everyone saw it, what you did. I will definitely take revenge. What? What is Shark's reaction? Hody was a little confused. What do I do? Has it been discovered? It shouldn't be. Get ready, you sinner. Sharkstar glared at Hody Jones. What an irony. Otoji would actually die at the hands of her own countrymen. Aladdin said. To actually do such a rebellious thing, don't even try to escape. Jinbei looked at Hody with anger in his expression. Kill him, someone in the crowd shouted. The murderer of Otahime. Never let him go. The power of the crowd is terrifying, and when Hody saw that everyone wanted to eat their own flesh and blood, he panicked a little. He doesn't have the strength to stand alone against 1,000 armies. That's why I learned combat experience in the Escort of Neptune. Even in the original book, Luffy was able to cause trouble because of the use of a lot of fierce medicine, and the advantage of the terrain when fighting in the sea. The current Hody is almost a scum. How can it be exposed? The conspiracy that I have planned so meticulously should not go wrong. He hoped, and finally in a hidden grass, he saw a phone bug poking his brain. Then he looked at the big screen in the square, which was playing the scene of him carrying a human being. Cold sweat could not help flowing down. The anger in my heart is unstoppable. Who is it? Who is it? Ruined my plan. Enel stood beside Shirahoshi, biting a lollipop in his mouth. For Hody, as a human being, he is not very good at shooting. Let the fish people solve it by themselves. Of course, if they were too useless, Enel wouldn't mind taking Hody's head as a gift to Neptune. Damn it, scumbag. Traders of Fishman Island. I know him, he used to be a pirate in Fishman Street. Sure enough, there are a bunch of dangerous elements there. I really don't know what His Royal Highness Neptune thinks. Yeah, it should be wiped out early there. It is impossible for any force to be monolithic, and there will be differences and conflicts. For a country like Mermaid Island with a population of 5 million, it is normal to have discord. Ordinary fish people have always been vigilant and disgusted by the ignorant gangsters in the Fishman Street, so this has become a point of their attack. Damn it, these bastards who are close to human beings. You are the traitors. For those of you who have sunshine and air, you don't even know the pain of us living in Fishman Street. Hody looked at the restless crowd, his eyes twinkling hatred. It's you who killed Mom. Whoa, Bai Xing finally stopped the tears, and began to run again. Her hatred was definitely transferred to Hody Jones. The Sea Kings are moving, and they are no longer just backgrounds. Staring at Hody, his eyes flashed fiercely. Feeling their hostility, Hody froze. Damn it. That damn little girl. Oops, look at the Sea Kings, they're moving. How could this be? Those monsters collide, and the whole Fishman Island will be destroyed. Seeing that the Sea Kings had the intention of attacking, the fish people panicked. While I don't want to die, Mom. God, save us. Damn it, if these guys go crazy, things will be big. To Enel, Otahime's death is not a big deal. But if the Sea Kings really start an offensive, it will be fatal. Once the Sea Kings get out of control, the Fishman Island will be destroyed. After Hody, Carter will become their first target. Don't cry, Bai Xing is good, didn't your mother tell you to be strong? Let me help you clean up that hateful Hody. Enel comforted Bai Xing. Yes, do and cry, be strong. Bai Xing choked. The Sea Kings also stopped moving immediately. Jinbei has already guessed, and seeing Shirahoshi's emotional changes and Neptune's actions, he completely confirmed Shirahoshi's ability at this moment. Then he looked at Anil beside Shirahoshi with a solemn look on his face. Why on earth did that man want to marry Bai Xing? Did he already know Bai Xing's identity? It doesn't seem right. Bai Xing's ability is indeed displayed for the first time. It is impossible to know before that. Is it really a coincidence? But with such an ability, Shiro, is it really safe to be close to the king of humans? Jinbei looked at Ainel, and he had already brought the slightest killing intent. The fact that Shirahoshi is an ancient weapon must not be leaked. Otherwise, not only Shirahoshi, but the entire Fishman Island will be in danger. Chapter 247 White Star's Love Letter. White Star, stay here, I'll take care of that bad guy. Anil spread his wings, and then he was a little worried, and specifically told Carter, Cat, don't bite people. You can't lick. Carter glanced at him, clearly saying, stingy. Mr. Anil, but Mom told us not to hate her. Shirahoshi said weakly. Her little face with pear blossoms and rain is full of tangle, resentment, and pain. This is the sadness of the soul, which cannot be restrained or concealed. But she also remembered Otoji's last words, not to hate. She was trying her best to contain her anger. Thanks to her being able to endure these pains, otherwise, if she couldn't control her emotions, those sea kings who were rendered would tear apart the Mermaid Island in minutes. It's okay, you just don't hate it. It's not that I don't hate it. Leave it to me. Ainil. Xiaoxing looked at Ainil rushing towards Hody, with a complicated look on his face. Itsuki's last words made Xiaoxing quite wary of him. Is it dark? Damn human beings. You lower races, you should crawl under the feet of our murlocs. Hody didn't retreat, his face was hideous. Hit the water. The powerful water polo flew towards Enel at a very high speed. In vain. For this water polo, Enel was dismissive. Boom. The water polo exploded on his scales, and not a single scar appeared. How is that possible? Mere humans. That phone bug, I set it up. Anil shouted hatred, you low-level fish, an incompletely evolved creature, a weak scum. You are a waste. You. Is that powerless attack tickling me? Bastard. Yatake shark. Hee hee. Anil completely ignored the flying water droplets. It's impossible for the weak to leave a wound on my body. Enel reached out and grabbed Hody's head. Aren't you proud of your powerful arm strength? It's said that there are 10 times that of human beings, right? Then, let me see, your strength. Take it out, 10 times my strength. Enel hated such racists, made him feel a bit like a Draco. Arrogant, without self-knowledge. I don't even know how much weight I have, I deserve to be killed. Ainil increased the strength of his hand. Wow, Hody screamed. Crack la la. With a snap, Hody's head was like a watermelon, and half of it was pinched off by Enel. Hot blood spilled out and splashed onto Enel's body. There was a fishy smell. It stinks. He wrinkled his nose, picked up his body, and Fei met Bai Xing's side. White Star, don't look. Shark Star stood in front of her. Well, let's hurry up and send the mother home. Huang Xing and Rover Xing pulled Bai Xing and turned around. But that person, Bai Xing glanced at Ainil and found that he was smiling at him, with blood on his face. At his feet, a large area of bright red flowed out. Bai Xing also knew what happened, but didn't say anything, and obediently followed Huangxing and Rolling Star to Dragon Palace City. Thank you for helping us capture the criminals, but I hope that this kind of bloody picture will not appear in front of Bai Xing in the future. Xiaoxing said. Oh, is that so? I thought this revenge would make Shirahoshi happy. Enel smiled. The darkness rolled, swallowing all the blood on his body. Meow. Carter always felt that Enel's ability was very convenient for cleaning. Shark Star shuddered as he looked at the smiling Enel. Is this what the mother said about the darkness? Complete disregard for the ruthlessness of life. Like a demon, a strange and unknown ability. Boom. It was earth-shattering when it came, and it was loud when it left. As Bai Xing calmed down, the Neptunes also left, and when they left, they glanced at Carter. It doesn't matter, it's a deep water cat. It is very dangerous to leave it by the king's side. It shouldn't matter, it didn't show any hostility to the king. His Royal Highness Shark Star, leave it to me here. Jinping came over. Boss Jinbei, I see. The guards left with Hodi's body. The surrounding murlocs have all been dispersed, and only Anil and Jinpei are left. What is your purpose? Jinbei asked, staring at Anil. Purpose. An alliance. Both Verslau and Fishman Island have no right to speak within the world government. They should support each other, right? This is beneficial to both of us. Anil looked at Jinping's eyes, still wearing smile. Cold smile. Feeling Jinpei's killing intent towards him, Anil immediately guessed what he was thinking. How could it not be self-inflicted? Jinbei didn't see the slightest abnormality on Anil's face, clenched his fists, and finally did not choose to do it. He wasn't sure if Anil knew Shiraoshi's identity, nor was he fully sure of killing Anil. But if he did it, it would definitely arouse Anil's suspicions. At that time, it might be self-defeating and expose Bai Xing's identity instead. I was really scared to death just now. What happened to those Sea Kings? Shouldn't they come to Fishman Island often to relax? Anil asked knowingly. Ha ha ha, maybe, the Sea Kings are relatively rare, but there are often sea beasts invading. But they are usually driven away by the guards. Jinping snorted haha. After all, this is 10,000 meters deep in the sea, so it's not surprising to see these creatures. Oh, that's right. Anil nodded. Oh, ancestors. Your dream, the secret that we have passed down from generation to generation, the long-cherished wish of our family. It will finally come true in my hands. Smiling. That girl, the mermaid princess, is what I have been pursuing. I will definitely marry her and then control the world. Boss, but she's still a kid, said one of his mermen. It's all right, I can wait. Vanderdecken didn't mind playing around. I heard she seems to be engaged. Another hit. What? Damn it. That bastard from Neptune. This must be a dirty political marriage. I will never agree. I will definitely use my sincerity to touch Bai Xing. Then let her marry me, and send her a letter first. Love letter. He quickly wrote. I'm in love with you, as it should be. Marry me, Vanderdecken. The love letter crossed many barriers, flew over the deep sea of 10,000 meters, and finally arrived at Bai Xing's side accurately. Hey, what is this? Bai Xing picked up the love letter suspiciously and handed it to Xiaoxing. Brother, look at this, I picked it up on the way. Oh, this is a love letter. Chapter 248 Unchanging Will. Vanderdecken, who is it? Shark Star looked puzzled. It's probably a prank, Bai Xing is only 6 years old. Huang Xing said. No matter how you say it, you dare to dig my corner, you are very courageous. I will accompany Shirahoshi these days. After all, she is my fiancé. Anil came over. Your Excellency Anil, isn't this inconvenient? Shark Star was vigilant. Is there nothing inconvenient? You Fishman Island should be busy with a lot of things recently. The domestic security needs to be rectified, and the funeral of His Royal Highness E.G. needs to be arranged, and the restless people's hearts also need to be appeased. Bai Xing will take care of me. Now, I'm a little worried about her. If the Xiao Xiao who dares to covet her appears again, I will definitely let him eat and walk around. If you need any help, you can come to me. We are already allies. I am also very saddened by the passing of His Highness Otahime. Anil walked to Shirahoshi. Shark Star hesitated, and finally nodded. They would stay by Shiraoshi's side anyway, and Anil's request wasn't very rude. Over the next day, Vanderdecken took the trouble to send 5 love letters in succession. This bastard's brain is sick. Anil cursed. This guy is a harasser, isn't he? How could he propose like that? Pervert. Lolicon. Stalker. Anil suddenly had the urge to kill Vanderdecken. In order to protect Bai Xing these few days, he never let down his guard for a moment. I'm worried that I don't know when a big axe will fly over. It made him a little nervous. This is probably what is called retribution. He had used similar tactics against Garp not long ago. They chose to tell Neptune anyway. What happened? Neptune asked. Wherever I go, this letter will fly over. Shirahoshi handed the love letter to Neptune. Vander Deacon, I remember they've been pirates for generations, right? Neptune was a little puzzled. Yeah, this letter seems to be able to track Shirahoshi, maybe some kind of fruit ability. We have to be careful, if the letter is replaced with a knife or something, then Shirahoshi is in danger. Enel said beside him. That's right. Funeral, the children don't attend, the sniper's accomplice may still be there. Neptune made a decisive decision. After one day. Oops, Bai Xing is gone. Huang Xing shouted anxiously. Look, here's a letter. Rollover pointed at the table. Xiaoxing picked up the note. Don't worry, I took Beixing to the funeral and will be back soon. What to do? Do you want to chase? It's okay, that person is very strong, so he should be able to protect Bai Xing, we just need to inform the emperor. Xiaoxing replied lightly. Megalo swam towards the sea forest with Shirahoshi and Enel on his back. Mr. Enel, does it really matter? Don't worry, I will repel any enemy. My strength is not bad. Enel said. But, brother, they will be worried when they find out that I'm gone. Bai Xing's face was full of worry. Didn't we leave a note? It doesn't matter. I'm sorry, it was my willfulness that caused you trouble. Bai Xing looked sad and full of self-blame. No trouble, I'm your fiancé. Of course I want to help you. It's just a small matter. If you can't even see your mother for the last time, how sad it would be. Even such a wish, if it can't be done, then I'm too useless, right? Enel smiled. Wow Shirahoshi suddenly cried while hugging Enel. Instead of snuggling, the bird cried like a human, but hugged Enel like a doll. On the face. Tears the size of fists kept falling, hitting Enel's head. Getting him all wet. Gah, Megalo also looked sullen and listless. Shirahoshi, I know you're very sad, but put me down first. If there is any danger like this, I won't be able to take action in time. Enel closed his eyes and turned his head to try to avoid Shirahoshi's tears. Hold, I'm sorry, Mr. Enel. Shirahoshi was a little flustered. Boom blah blah blah. Xiaoxing didn't get through to Neptune's phone even after calling for a long time. Maybe the father forgot to bring the phone bug. Xiaoxing was a little helpless. Sea forest, this is the end of the ocean current, and the wreckage of countless ships is carried here by the current. This is a fertile sea where countless creatures thrive and whales swim freely outside the bubbles. This is the destination of death and the cradle of life. Life and death intertwine peacefully and harmoniously here. In a clearing, Ogahime's grave is surrounded by flowers. An enlarged photo is placed on the tombstone. In the posthumous photo, a beautiful woman with a smile blooms like a summer flower. The eyes are curved like crescent moons. In front of the tombstone, countless people were silent. They were dressed in black and held flowers. Amid the solemnity, soft sobbing can be heard. They are mourning, they are remembering. Sadness lingers, the passing of this great princess is a great loss to the entire Fishman Island. This is a torment of the soul, and the dead are peaceful. The living, but still have to move on with hopeless dreams. Even the corners of Jinbei's eyes were full of wet tears. When everyone was immersed in mourning, a fish, a person, a mermaid, covered with bubbles, floated in the air, and slowly swam to the front of the team. Queen Mother, Bai Xing's voice was very soft, very light. When Jinbei heard the voice, he looked up. "Oh Princess White Star, be strong," he comforted. "Hey Your Highness Bai Xing. Aren't you supposed to be in Dragon Palace City? It's too dangerous here." Jinping's face changed suddenly. "Don't worry, I will protect her. With me following, that guy Vander Deacon can't make any waves." Enel stood in the palm of Shiraishi's hand. Oops, it was discovered. "What should I do, Mr. Enel?" Shirahoshi asked. "What should I do?" Enel rolled his eyes. "I didn't intend to hide it. Go on." Sha. A sound came from the big screen. My fellow citizen's mother once said that the real life under the sun is only one step away. We will use our whole life to inherit the legacy of our mother. All the signatures will be voided this time, let's start over. One day, our dream will be realized. I hope so. As long as you have the will to yearn for the light, then we will have the basis for cooperation. Otherwise, I will be troubled. Enel murmured. If the Murlocs give up contact with humans, his plans will be in vain. Huh, what did you say, Mr. Enel? Shirahoshi asked. No, nothing, Shirahoshi, you have to do your best. I'll do my best. Baixing showed a big smile, and there were still crystal tears hanging from the corners of his eyes. Under the sun, the girl is smiling, like a blooming flower, charming and dazzling. So cute. Enel is cute. Shaking his head, he drove the messy thoughts out of his mind. It's a fish. Still a loli. Don't think about it. Chapter 249 Dynamics of All Parties. Newsbird flies around the world with information on all kinds of big things happening lately. There are many biases in this information, and you need to analyze and judge by yourself. But in this day and age, newspapers are probably the only way for ordinary people to keep abreast of what's going on in the world. And the news of Neil taking over as the King's Chiwahai is undoubtedly the headline of this issue of the newspaper. Outside the number. The fourth Shichibukai is confirmed. The whole world shook quite a bit. Those who survived in the shadows turned their attention to this place. North Sea, the Vinsmoke family. The giant sea snails have come together to form a kingdom, Germa. This is a member state of the world government, but is feared and not allowed to own the country. A tall man in a metal helmet, with a mustache and long blonde hair, in a battlesuit bearing the Germa logo, reads the newspaper. He is the ruler of Germa, Vinsmoke Gage. Seeing her father's inexplicable expression, a beautiful pink-haired girl asked, "Father, what's wrong?" Gaji handed the newspaper to Leiju. Another Chiwahai, also born in Beihai, once robbed our prey. Oh, it's that one. He was also a famous mercenary in Beihai at the time, and now he has become a world-famous big man. That guy disappeared for so long, and suddenly appeared, he should have put his hand into the underground world. Back then, he and Joker turned Beihai upside down. Isn't he just a kid? There's nothing to worry about. Chiwahai's words should be active in the Great Sea Route. If he comes to Beihai, I will definitely make him look good. Ha ha ha, Yuji with green hair confidence in Germa's technological power. By the way, how did the newspaper office do it? Why don't you even have the latest photos? There is only a reward order from 6 years ago. IG looked at the pictures in the newspaper, a little puzzled. Great Airway. A huge white sailboat moored on the sea, with a whale-shaped bow that seemed to be smiling. The black pirate flag flutters in the wind, a sign that can make all bounty hunters hesitate to make a move high above the ship. This is the Moby Dick, the well-deserved overlord of this era, one of the 4 emperors, the car of Edward Newgate. Hey, look everyone, Chiwahai. Another Chiwahai has come out. Ha ha ha, what a despicable guy. Pirates are actually recruited by the government. This is embarrassing us. The next time I meet him, I will definitely teach that kid what a pirate is. Ha ha ha, don't brag. The strength of Chiwahai is still recognized. Be careful and have been taught a lesson. Ha 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 ha, everyone burst into laughter. Did I see that kid wrong? He doesn't look like someone who will submit to others. Blackbeard held a newspaper in one hand and a wine bottle in the other. Everyone has their own aspirations, don't care too much about other people's paths. Sage came over and patted Titch on the shoulder. The thief, ha 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 ha, Sachi, you still have 50 jars of wine left for the punishment you bet on last time. Hurry up and end it. My stomach hurts. Sachi clutched his stomach and fled. Go 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 go. Whitebeard drank heavily. Young bastards dare to venture into the sea. You are a bastard to be soft on the world government. Dad, the doctor said you should drink less. Marco hung a dead fish eye. I really want to see Sengoku's face. What kind of mood does that guy have when working with pirates? Kula la la la. a heroic laughter resounded through the sea. On an unknown island, a red-haired, one-armed man is drunk. "Captain, it's daytime now." The fat man in white and green striped clothes bit a piece of flesh. "Drink it, doesn't matter if he is day or night, he will have a banquet when he is happy." "Oh," the pirates toasted and shouted. Ben Beckman held a toothpick in his mouth. "There is another Chihuahua. The three major factions are slowly taking shape. I am afraid this sea will soon subside." He is the think tank of the red-haired pirates, and he basically operates the intelligence work. "Ha ha ha, what's the matter? Let's continue drinking no matter what the three major forces are, as long as they can happily take risks." Hiccup, Shanks blushed and hiccuped. "Aren't you drunk?" Beckman was still calm in this warm atmosphere. "Chihuahua, it's just a bunch of trash, don't worry about it." The muscles in the chew area and the sturdy body undoubtedly do not indicate the strength of this person. Boom, boom, boom. He swayed while drunk, and his every move caused an earthquake-like movement. Kaido kept pouring alcohol into his mouth. "If you have time to care about these little things, you might as well find more devil fruits." "Boss Kaido, Chihuahua's strength should not be underestimated. They are all staring at your seat," said one of his subordinates. "Huh," Kaido glared at him with bloodshot eyes. "Who do you think I am? I'm Kaido. Don't compare me to this kind of kid who plays house." Boom. The black-purple domineering arrogance erupted towards him. The pirate in the velvet clothes rolled his eyes and fainted. "You're even more of a piece of shit, you actually passed out like this." Mom mom this cake is so delicious." Charlotte Lingling poured the cream into her mouth with a spoon. "It's so sweet. Give me another 100. She ate the cake, her face full of happiness. Like a child who got candy. "Mom, another candidate for Shichibukai has been confirmed." "Oh, is it?" Lingling took the newspaper from Snickers. The picture in the newspaper is the reward order from Enel 6 years ago. Enel in the picture is eating an ice cream. He also likes sweets. He should be a good boy. Lingling saw the ice cream at a glance. Got the point wrong. The people on the side came up with such an idea in unison. But they dare not speak. Moody Ant, even her own children can start. No one dared to touch her bad head. Yang one step ahead of me. Verslow, it's interesting now. Doflamingo sat on the white wooden chair and licked his lips. Dover, that stinky boy Enel is one step ahead of us and makes Verslow his own territory. What should we do? Torapal got close. Doflamingo frowned. You're too close. The plan remains the same, we don't need to see the government's face anyway. I have enough chips in my hand. I hope we can still cooperate happily. I kneel. Dover put the newspaper aside, stood up, and looked at the sea. Our goal is almost here. In the distance, several sailboats slowly approached. Chapter 250 Heavenly Gold. There are more than 170 member countries of the world government, each of which has to pay a part of the treasure and hand it over to the Tianlong people. A huge amount of heavenly gold maintains the luxurious life of the Tianlong people. Every time the gold is in the sky, it will be escorted by the army sent by the Navy headquarters. Wealth is exciting, but few people will unknowingly go to the idea of this money. This symbolizes the majesty of the Tianlong people. Even if they get it, they will face the full strangulation of the Navy headquarters. And now, there is a pirate, parked on the way forward with great fanfare. The sea breeze blows the waves, with the smell of the sea. Today's wind has a tinge of palpitating breath. Why haven't you come yet? Could it be that the intelligence personnel made a mistake? The absence of the top cadre of Red Star is really disturbing. Don't worry, Gradius, be patient, trust our subordinates, they are all elites. Doflamingo was holding a glass of wine, but judging from his clenched right hand, his mood was not as relaxed as it seemed. This plan is related to his plan for the next 10 years, and there is no room for mistakes. Sebastian is an old man in the Navy, a contemporary of Cyborg Sora. Their navy was not as large as it is today. In the era when the peak of pirates had not yet arrived, the Navy did not have much power. He does not have the strength of steel bones, and his aptitude can only be said to be average. But he managed to survive, from that era to the present. With the merits accumulated over the years, he also sat in the position of lieutenant general. Fighting pirates is regarded as his lifelong responsibility, and the flame of justice in his heart is still burning. But his body is already aging. He is like the sun approaching the West Mountain, red enthusiasm, bright, but with a little twilight. Maybe it's time to retire next year. He looked at his wrinkled skin and smiled. Escorting Tianshengjian made him a little dissatisfied, but he didn't say much. He has long seen all the ugliness and darkness in the world. This veteran knows patience and compromise. He is powerless to change the whole world. He can only do his own good, to maintain fairness and justice within the scope of what he can do. Sebastian sat on the deck basking in the sun, a little leisurely and comfortable. There are no recreational activities on the sea, you must know how to amuse yourself. Lieutenant General Sebastian, there is a ship ahead. The lookout suddenly shouted. What? He jumped straight onto the mast and looked towards him with his binoculars. A flamingo-shaped boat was parked on the sea, and its long and narrow eyes seemed to laugh at others. He had a bad premonition in his heart. When encountering other ships at sea, you must be vigilant. This is the experience brought to him by many years of sailing career. It's a pirate ship. Go and confirm your identity. All crew, level 1 alert. Sebastian shouted. The number of pirates is as numerous as the stars, and it is impossible for him to remember all the pirate flags. The report, it has been confirmed, it is Doflamingo, the big pirate with a bounty of 340 million Bailey. The voice of the sailor was a little flustered. It doesn't look good. Sebastian showed a solemn look on his face. Huh, what's that? He saw a black dot moving quickly from the sky toward him. People. It's Doflamingo. Attention. Attack. The Navy raised their guns tactfully. Yang, that's really unfriendly. We don't have a good face for pirates. What are you doing? Sebastian asked. What the gold in the sky belongs to me. What? Sebastian's face changed drastically. The trace of the golden escort ship in the sky is definitely a secret, but Doflamingo's appearance is obviously here to wait for the rabbit. Don't think about it. Sebastian pulled out the dagger from his waist. Come over the top. Doflamingo moved his fingers. Sebastian stepped back quickly. Oh, it's very sensitive. Doflamingo raised a smile at the corner of his mouth. He just wanted to use the parasitic wire to control the opponent, but the opponent seemed to have a high sense of danger and left quickly. The parasitic line is not controlled if you want to control it. The speed of the parasitic line is not high. If you are prepared, it is not difficult to avoid it. Ignorance, child. Do you know what the treasures in this ship represent? Sebastian slashed at Doflamingo with his sword. I know very well, it's because I know, that's why I have this action. 5 color lines. Boom. The impact whipped up a gust of wind, and Sebastian's coat rattled. The rope fluttered, and the knife light flickered. It didn't take long for the two to fight, and Sebastian was crushed. His strength is not very strong, and being able to sit in the position of lieutenant general is largely due to military merit. Ha, he panted heavily. His face was tired, but he was still determined. He is old, and if he is 20 years younger, he is confident that he can entangle for a long time. But now his physical fitness has dropped greatly, and he was out of breath not long after he started. Don't worry, I won't kill you guys, just go ahead and capture you, you're not my opponent. Brother Doflamingo sullenly. HMPH Pirate's credit is 0. Besides, it's impossible for me to bow my head to a pirate. Such a blemish is absolutely not allowed in my life. He shouted, rushing towards Doflamingo. Past events flashed through my mind like a slideshow. Join the army, fight, get promoted, comrades die one by one, and finally leave the smiling face of his grandson. Time seemed to stand still. Blood spurted out from his chest like a fountain. In the end, it's not going to work. Maybe I should retire sooner. I really want to spend more time with my grandson. He slashed with a deadly strike, rubbing Doflamingo's shoulder and swiping over. Goodbye, Navy. Wah wah, Doflamingo smiled gloomily. Wow. A small sailboat emerged from the water, with an iron-gray exterior light, glowing with metallic luster. Pop. Coating cracked. Ahahaha, the sea is still comfortable. The bottom of the sea is so fucking depressing. Anal stretched, and before he could figure out what was going on, he saw a silver light rushing towards him. Scales appeared on his chest, which almost became his instinct. But I didn't have time to use the armed color. Click. The dragon scales shattered, and a shallow scar appeared on his chest. Shit. What's going on? Which traitor dares to harm me? Enel looked around. Then looked at Doflamingo. Dover, why are you here? Doflamingo was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect Enel to come to disrupt the situation, with a hint of vigilance. What a coincidence, I just came out to grab something. How about you? Chapter 251 Collaborators in the North Sea. After Odahime's funeral, Anel sent Shirahoshi back to Ryugu Castle and left. There are still many things in the country of Verslau waiting for him to clean up. On the way back, I was caught in the ocean current, and the route was a little off. As a result, I encountered this situation as soon as I came out. And Doflamingo, the first thing that comes to mind is not a coincidence, but that Enel had a plan. Enel is now one of the 7 Wuhai under the king, and it is very likely that he will trade with the 5 old stars to do some things for the government. So he instantly became vigilant. I passed by, I was just passing by, and I went astray. By the way, I happen to have a business looking for you. You can do it first, and we will have a good chat after it is done. Brothers Vigilance. Pika, leave it to you, don't kill people, save their lives. It's still useful, don't forget our purpose. The flamingo is approaching, and the main force of the escort, Sebastian, has been brought down, and the remaining soldiers are no threat. Doflamingo explained, and handed over the finishing work to his subordinates. He and Enel walked into the cabin of the flamingo. The two were facing each other, and in the middle was a rectangular table covered with a white tablecloth. Enel suddenly felt as if he had returned to the time when he was temporarily staying at Mingi's base. At that time, he always grabbed Mingi's bread and Senor's cake. Toripal was often mad at him, and Gradius was always like a transparent person, with no sense of existence. Ha 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 ha, Enel couldn't help laughing. Although he was on guard against each other, he and Brother Ming were probably friends. He has come into contact with a lot of people, basically it is one-sided relationship. Doflamingo is already one of the few people who have been with him for a long time. Dover was a little strange. It's okay, something happened in Beihai in the past. Dover, we are friends. He suddenly said without thinking. It's a friend. The corner of Doflamingo's mouth twitched. It's true that they are friends, but the knife should be stabbed, and there will be no hesitation. Want something to drink? A black-haired girl dressed as a maid asked politely. Bring me a cider. I don't seem to have seen it before. Do you have a new subordinate? Enel said. It's already been here, not long after you left. Baby 5, he's a child with great potential. Dover didn't begrudge his admiration. Oh, that's such a pity to miss the chance to get along with such a beautiful little sister. Marry me, Baby 5. Enel said casually. I needed. Well, Baby 5 covered her flushed face. PFF'd. Enel spit out the wine directly. It is really the same as in the comics. I really don't know how this guy survived until now. Can this character really become a cadre of the Don Quixote family? Enel looked at Doflamingo with inquiring eyes. What are you asking me to do? Brother Doflamingo still has something to do, and the matter of gold in the sky is not over yet, so I don't plan to chat with Enel, and go straight to the topic. I took Verslau and became king there. Oh, it's quite efficient, congratulations. I have formed an alliance with Fishman Island, and plan to open a trade route between Chambord Islands, Fishman Island, and Verslow. Anil said. It's interesting. If you succeed, you can get huge benefits, but it's too dangerous. Businessmen don't go that way. Doflamingo was indifferent. So work with the Murlocs. I've convinced them. Brother Ming thought for a while, and then he figured out the pros and cons. As a commercial pirate, his eyes are definitely not bad. The sea beasts on the waterway can be handed over to Carter, who can tame them. With the guidance of Murlocs, the danger will be greatly reduced. I don't like to do this kind of troublesome things, so I want you to take the lead. I only need to share the revenue. Through this trade route, the nearby countries can be linked together to form a community of interests. Anil said. Doflamingo's eyes lit up, and the last sentence moved his heart. Community of interests, this is his goal. Doflamingo's purpose isn't just for money. This is just a way. What he really wants is to tie himself to the rest of the forces through interests. Then use interest to trend them in the direction they want. All he wants is power. Power does not simply refer to the relationship between superiors and subordinates in government departments. More broadly speaking, it means that one person can drive another person to do things for him, so it can be said that the former has certain power over the latter. What Doflamingo wants is to weave a huge network of interests, centered on him and radiating to the surroundings. And he was able to drive the forces on this relationship network through enticing and other means. This is where the power comes from, and the purpose of Doflamingo's business is this power. His goal is to overthrow the Tianlong people and turn the world upside down. If his business has a wide enough range of influence, it can really hit the world government when it breaks out at a certain node. Enel's proposal was exactly what he wanted. There are a lot of allied countries around, and if they are all tied together, it will be a big force in the World Conference. All the member countries are scheming, and each time the World Conference breaks up without joy. If these countries can be united to speak with one voice, the voice will be greatly increased. Hey, you really gave me a problem. Doflamingo was a little distressed. This is not in line with his original plan. He originally wanted to capture Dressrosa and then provoked wars in the surrounding countries to profit from it. But Enel's plan is to eliminate barriers and promote communication. Completely opposite to him. According to Mingji's surly character, it is really difficult to negotiate peacefully with the rest of the king. Although he is a businessman, he has the madness and tyranny of a pirate in his bones. Let me think about it for a few days, it's a little hard to decide. Doflamingo likes to control people, just like his fruit ability. Treat others as marionettes. His strategy to control Dressrosa was also rough. It's a complete separation of light and darkness. To deceive his people, to place them in the light, to hide the bottomless darkness. If he cooperates with Enel to run the business road, then for the rest of the countries, he will definitely not be able to control them like puppets. His strength is not strong enough to place several countries in applause. Enel nodded. Let me know when you've figured it out. Chapter 252 Condition. For this business road, Enel's purpose is to expand his influence in the dark world. Then there are more ways to get devil fruits. The trouble is that he can only come up with ideas, and his business acumen is no match for Doflamingo. He wanted to unite the surrounding countries into an economic community, which ran counter to Doflamingo's strategy of provoking war. By then, there will be friction between the two. Enel's influence in the underground world is far less than that of Mingay. He will not underestimate Doflamingo. Mingay started from the North Sea and entered the Great Waterway a few years ago. He has been in business for so long, and it can be said that he is deeply ingrained in the underground world. In the original book, Doflamingo did not face the alliance between Luo and Luffy at all, and they seized the opportunity to defeat it. Otherwise, he will use his influence and be able to gather terrifying combat power. After Ming Brother collapsed, Jack gave up Uzo, who had finally broken down and wanted to rescue him. Kaido had been obsessed with this matter, which showed that Doflamingo was very important to the Beast Pirates. If he is willing to pay a little price, then Luffy will at least have to face one more, 3 disasters, level opponent in Dressrosa. And his transaction object is not only Kaido, but also other forces. The current Ming is not as strong as in the original book, and he has not yet caught up with Kaido in terms of trade, but it is not something that Anil can defeat. It is not wise to confront Ming Jie head-on. Anil doesn't care about the dominance of business, as long as he has a certain share and can affect the peace about the devil fruit. Ming Jie's contacts can publicize this path in a short time. His business talent is much better than Anil, so he can handle it and develop more rapidly. It can also transfer the pressure from the government to Doflamingo. The alliance of Fishman Island, Verslow, and Dressrosa, who is about to be captured by Mingo, involves the relationship between the three Shichibukai. Although Jinbei is not the king of Fishman Island, the will of Fishman Island is in the much of it is tied to Jinbei. The alliance formed by them as the core will be a behemoth second only to the four emperor pirates, and the world government will never sit idly by. Anil didn't want to be targeted by them, so he planned to let Brother Ming take control, resisting most of the pressure from the world government, hiding aside to collect devil fruits and grow silently. Another very important point is that Anil hates these troubles. He likes to solve problems with his fists, and he is too lazy to deal with complicated business relationships. Hey Dover, we've got it done. Torapal came in. Yo slug, long time no see. Anil greeted him. It's you stinky bastard, has it become a sea of Chiwu now? Torapal came over. Who is that person? Even though he is about the same age as us, he dares to speak to the young master in that tone. Buffalo approached Baby 5 and asked. I don't know, it seems that you are very familiar with the young master. His name is Anil, and he is a very important partner of our family. When he was in the North Sea, he often acted with people in the family. Gladius explained. Hey, I don't seem to have seen it before. Baby 5 looked puzzled. As early as 7 years ago, he left Beihai and entered the Great Waterway. Later, I didn't have much contact with us, and only recently did I hear about him. Have you not read the newspaper? He is the newly appointed Chiwahai. What? 77 Wuhai. Buffalo was surprised, and then quickly took a few steps back. Isn't that only for a famous person? Is he really that strong? Anil is very strong, and he is less arrogant than the young master. He is an uncompromising monster. Diamante interjected. He took that position one step ahead of us, ahead of the family. Senor leaned against the wall. Dover, let's go next, Diamante said halfway, looking at Egnal. Although he knew that Anil wouldn't interfere in other people's affairs, he wouldn't discuss the family's next move directly in front of him. Cat, let's go, said Anil. Dover, I hope we can still happily work together. You go on, and I won't bother you. Navy headquarters. Boom. Warring States stood up and roared. What? You said that the warship escorting Tiantianjin was hijacked. What, are you kidding? Yes, the Navy who came to report the letter was silent. Who is it? It's Ayasha, Don Quixote Doflamingo, with a bounty of 340 million Baileys. I see, you go down first. Warring States covered his forehead with a headache. He can already imagine the accountability of the 5 old stars next, and the gang of Tianlong people will definitely scold him. Kapuyu, Sengoku wanted to let Garp over, but halfway through his words, he realized that he was the only one in the office. Dolores was seriously injured, and Garp went to the hospital to accompany her. Without Kapuna's sound of chewing senbei, although it was quiet, Sengoku was inexplicably not used to it. Boom, blah blah blah. The phone at the desk rang. It's me, Doflamingo, Marshal of the Warring States period. A gloomy expression appeared on the phone bug. Are you the pirate who hijacked the gold in the sky? Warring States tried to contain his anger as blue veins appeared on the back of his hand. He had a grudge against Doflamingo, and his adopted son, Rociniti, died at the hands of Mingo. It's really arrogant, and you dare to call the Navy headquarters. You shouldn't be so daring as to covet gold from the sky, right? What do you want? Warring States asked. Yee, talking to a smart person is saving effort. You really deserve to be a wise general. I want the position of Chiwahai. The sky is full of gold. Doflamingo said. Where are the sailors? Are the navies all right? Don't worry, I saved their lives. The life of the navy is also one of Doflamingo's bargaining chips. If they are all killed, it will only anger the warring states. He acted in a measured manner and did not go too far. Otherwise, not only will there be no benefits, but it will lead to endless pursuit and killing. I will try my best to facilitate this in front of the 5 old stars. Warring states replied. The admiral can determine the candidate of Chihuahai, but the actual appointment still needs the consent of the 5 old stars. After all, the province of Chihuahai has the purpose of containing the navy. If the power of appointment and removal is in the hands of the navy, this meaning will be lost. I hope you act quickly, otherwise the injured sailors may be in danger. Yee. After that, he hung up the phone. Brother Doflamingo, you bastard. Sengoku scolded. Chapter 253 Transforming Verslow. The wind on the coast was strong, and it was howling, blowing Carter's fur into a flurry. On the steep cliff, a man and a cat stood facing the sea. Several birds flew through the air and made several chirps. They fly in the wind like unyielding fighters. Carter looked at the seabird, took out his machete and was eager to try it. I don't know when it developed the habit of wanting to chop down the bird when it saw it. But it hasn't learned to walk on the moon, so it can only stare at the seabirds in the sky. Anal reached out to stop it. Don't do it, fly against the wind, what a precious spirit. We must respect such a strong seabird. Meow. However, they don't seem to be flying against the wind, but with the wind. Carter tilted his head. Anal. Boom. 2 dark balls wrapped in domineering flew high into the sky. Let's have roast meat for lunch today. Anal pinched the downed seabird by the neck. That guy Dover is not bad. He became Shichibukai so quickly. It took a week when I applied. Anal held 2 newspapers. One is the Great Daily and the other is the News of the World. That guy Morgans isn't willing to be lonely. Is he starting to hit the top of the intelligence industry? The turmoil in the underground world may be more violent than I originally expected. Anal had a bird wing in his mouth. Hey, cat, in the future, take a better attitude towards news birds, and don't just kill them. No news birds have come here recently. During this period of time, I discovered the news birds with arrogance, and I bought them after catching up. Meow. I see. Carter didn't care. Anal had a headache. Carter didn't know why he hated birds so persistently, especially news birds. Forget it, the newspaper will be shuffled soon anyway, so let's go to Morgan's and say hello. Doflamingo. King Riku looked at the newspaper, and had a bad premonition in his heart. Dad, what's wrong with you? Scarlet asked, looking at the gloomy King Riku. No, it's fine. Monet, disguised as a maid, pushed his glasses. The mirrors reflected the sunlight, and from Scarlet's position, it was impossible to see her eyes clearly. Is it finally time to act, young master? Doflamingo's plan to capture Dressrosa has not yet begun, and Enel hires Pika for 500 million Baileys. He intends to transform the terrain of Verslow in a large area. Devil fruit is very convenient for some things, and Pika's ability makes him a little expert in construction. He has the ability of the stone fruit, and can freely manipulate the rock. Change its shape arbitrarily, and this change will not return to its original form due to the release of his ability. Instead, it will still maintain its changed shape. The natural environment in Verslow is not very good. There are many reefs around the island, as well as the ring-shaped cliffs that surround the entire island, and when the tide is low, it is impossible for ships to pass. Under the planning of several architects, the plan for the island came out. Your Majesty, everything is ready, and the residents have been evacuated. Construction can be started at any time. Dauber bowed slightly. Then let's hurry up, there is still something to do over there in Dover, we must hurry up. Pika's voice was sharp as always. The tall man was a huge contrast to the shrill voice. PFF'd, Dauber wanted to laugh, but was restrained after being glared by Enel. He endured hard. Pika looked at Dauber with dissatisfaction, with anger in her eyes. If Dauber really dared to laugh out loud, he would definitely punch him directly. This is a distinguished guest, and I don't want anything unpleasant to happen, so be polite to me. Under Anil's icy gaze, Dauber shivered as if he had fallen into the ice cellar. Fear outweighed laughter. Don't worry, it's very close to Dressrosa, it won't take long to get there, Anil said to Pika. The first is the Central Highlands. Under Anil's order, the originally prosperous business district has been deserted, and everything has been moved to the sea forest. Pika, let's get started, Anil said. Pika nodded. Rumbling. He activated the ability. The sky shook, and the earth seemed to have life, twisting. All the buildings are integrated and the whole central high ground is called a rock block. The original palace was not planned to be kept because of the extensive destruction of Enel. Enel is going to make another one. The stones turned into houses with the same shape under the manipulation of Pika. This is a uniform-style residential house. Then the noble districts, the royal palaces, and houses with uncomplicated styles took shape one by one. Although there is no bustling decoration, it is very neat and has a symmetrical beauty. The streets are not as winding as they used to be. Taking into account Enel's walking habits, all roads are straight. 16 broad roads radiated from the palace as the center. A circular road surrounds the palace and continues to expand. Viewed from the air, it is a concentric circle. And the 16 straight lines run through these circles, like a cake that has been cut neatly. After completing such a large project, Pika was out of breath. Although in terms of the volume of the changed rocks, there are not as many as the first Battle of Dressrosa in the original book. But because he wanted to make it look like a house, such a precise operation aggravated the consumption of his physical strength. Look, well, it's amazing. This is it really something a human can do. It's just a miracle. Those houses are so beautiful. Lord King. The citizens who watched the changes in the Central Highlands on the edge of the sea forest exclaimed. Dauber's policy had long been publicized, and all those who originally lived in the Highlands would be given a house. The uniform-style house Pika built was better than what most of them originally lived in. Only the nobles were dissatisfied. Although the houses of the nobles are much larger than the commoners, in terms of area, they are similar to the houses they originally lived in. But no fancy decorations. Such a cookie-cutter style seems very tasteless to them, not in line with their aesthetics. However, they dared not speak out. Anil had already shown his strength, an overwhelming strength that made them all dare not resist. To be honest, Anil doesn't care about the will of the people. Anyway, this is a world dominated by personal force, and the people's will is not very important. Pika, do you need a break? Enel asked. No need, that's all. Next, just sink the high ground over there into the sea, right? Pika asked, pointing at the rock wall that looked like a gap. That's right, get those rocks on both sides, and I'm going to build a fort there to control the entry and exit of ships. Read the latest chapter, please follow. Chapter 254, Carter's 6 Pillars. Don't be noisy, let me sleep for a while. Enel said dissatisfiedly, lying in the quilt. The maid who woke him up for lunch stood dumbfounded. But Mr. Carter said he had something to do with you. Tell the cat that I have a strange disease that keeps me out of bed. The maid was a little embarrassed. This kind of disease, does it really exist? She obediently backed out and closed the door. When he turned around, he saw a big pink cat standing there. Caw, Mr. Carter. She bowed her head respectfully. Meow. Is she still unwilling to come out? The maid couldn't understand what Carter said. Seeing her blank eyes, Carter decided to ignore her, waved her hand, and motioned her to leave. The business road will not officially begin until Doflamingo's affairs in Dressrosa are over. Fishman Island has already sent a lot of people to explore suitable routes. Doflamingo was mainly responsible for contacting the merchants, and Enel only had to watch from the sidelines. Enel, who had nothing to do, could only sleep in the bed. There is no war nearby. If you go further afield to collect life force, you may not be able to come back in time when Brother Ming starts his business. Although he was too lazy to spend too much energy on it, he would not be indifferent at all. If Doflamingo completely controls the route, then Enel will have nothing to do. With nothing to do, Enel lived a lazy and depraved life. Carter was about to practice the 6 forms. He couldn't understand what Spandam wrote, so he dragged Enel. Meow, with a shrill howl, it was like a ghost call. Enel shuddered, unable to sleep. Hey stupid cat, let no one sleep, so early in the morning, I'm afraid you'll be beaten like this. Carter looked up at the sun that had risen in midair, early in the morning. Don't bully this cat's low cultural level. Under Carter's unrelenting attack, Enel could only rub his eyes and accompany him out in the end. 6 forms is a physical technique used by the Navy that goes beyond the limits of the human body. Including iron blocks, shaving, paper painting, moon steps, lantern feet, and finger guns. If you want to learn the 6 poses, a strong physical fitness is a prerequisite. To shave is to step on the ground more than 10 times in a moment, and use the explosive speed generated by the reaction force to move. This is the most practical and easiest to learn among the 6 styles. This move can speed up your own movement, and many people in the original book will use it. Luffy can learn it just by watching Bruno use it a few times. There is a factor of his high talent in it, but the ease of this trick is also a condition that cannot be ignored. Even Enel had learned how to practice after watching it a few times. Not because of his talent, but because of his physical fitness. Isn't it just kicking the ground a lot in an instant? The body is strong enough, of course this little thing is not a problem. It's just that for Enel, the practicality is not very good. He has a wing and moves much faster than this. Paper painting, making the body as light as paper to avoid attacks. Hide what? If it's a man, it's going to be tough. Enel disdains to dodge. Well, he admitted that he couldn't do such a highly technical move. Lanjiao, if you want to learn this trick, you need a little swordsmanship. When Kaku fought Zoro, he said that he was not a 2-sword but a 4-sword. Anya's dragon foot shaving function is similar to this, but he completely relies on his strong physical fitness to kick out quickly, and the compressed air forms a wind blade. Moonstep, Enel said he can fly, learn the ghost's moonstep. Iron block and finger gun, these are the 2 most difficult of the 6 styles, and the requirements for physical fitness are also the highest. They are all moves that need to inject power into the body and then strengthen the body's hardness. Enel doesn't really need the finger gun, he just stabs people with his claws. Iron blocks can indeed improve his strength after learning it, but it is too difficult to learn. It is better to find a few devil fruits to increase the hardness of the scales. Or kill a few more beasts to make your body larger after dragonization, so that the thickness of the scales will be larger, and the defense will of course be improved. Enel concluded that the 6 styles are tasteless. In fact, domineering is not very useful to him, because his half-hearted domineering does not significantly improve his attack power and defense power. It is the domineering of the armed color mixed into the darkness, giving him an effective long-range attack method, as well as the ability to damage the natural fruit. Carter listened to Enel's explanation, and quickly resorted to shaving. Well, not bad, this kind of talent is a little worse than mine. Enel nodded, looking like a child who could be taught. Paper painting. Carter's body suddenly felt as light as a piece of paper, erratic. Although not very proficient, but it can be considered a model. This kind of picture is just irritating to the eyes. A fat cat that is as fat as a ball, after using this trick, it is as flexible as a vigorous monkey. Carter is never clumsy, in fact he has always been a fat cat that has always been nimble. It's just that a lot of people who see it are misled by what it looks like. It's not right to judge people by their appearance, and the naive giant panda's fighting power is also explosive. Land feet. Carter knows it as soon as he gets started. Carter, who can wield a 6-meter-long sword, certainly has a certain background in swordsmanship. In addition, its physical quality is not bad, and it learns very quickly. Moon step. Armored colors can attack those with mobile nature abilities. The characteristic of armed color is to be able to stop this flow. Carter used the weapon color, took the fluid of air as the target of attack, and continuously attacked the air through certain skills, so as to gain reaction force and stay in the air. Finger guns, cat claws covered with armed colors, the hardness is no less than that of Enel's dragon claws. Iron nuggets. Carter can't do this yet, but after its tough fur is armed with color, it's hard enough to compete with Enel's dragon scales. Enel felt a little stuffy, and the air in his chest made him depressed. As soon as Carter got started, he learned the 6 forms in 8 ways. This kind of understanding, this kind of talent, left him 7 or 8 streets away. Carter excitedly slid around in the air with a moon step, then fell to the ground, blinked his eyes, looked at Enel, and asked, "Visi, am I okay?" Enel wanted to vomit blood, and if he had Carter's talent, he could have been able to face the general. Very not bad. He struggled to squeeze a few words out of his mouth, with a tangled expression on his face. Enel looked at the 6 forms, and felt that it had a lot in common with domineering. Scratched his head, he wasn't going to learn it anyway, so he stopped thinking about it. He called Dauber, gave him the 6-style cultivation method, and asked him to copy it down. As a warrior, he naturally understood how precious these things were, and immediately knelt down and swore how loyal he would be in the future. Enel completely ignored his words. Only fools believe it. How loyal can a person who turns to them immediately after the original owner dies? Enel doesn't know how to rule, and this kind of thing is actually best used as a reward after his subordinates have made meritorious deeds. Things that are too easy to obtain will not be cherished. If you give a lot of good things casually, in the end, it will easily become a situation of Shengmin and Do Mi Cho. But even if he knew about it, he wouldn't care. Enel used force to oppress and implement a reign of terror, as long as his subordinates did things. The rest are secondary. As long as he maintains that impeccable strength, his subordinates will not have the courage to betray. Chapter 255 Granulated Sugar. Mary Joa, the 5 old stars staring at the 2 bounties made their faces gloomy. Enel Viserys Lafawater and Don Quixote da Flamingo are in touch again. Enel suddenly emerged from the sea, and then chatted with Ming Jie. Of course, this scene was seen by the Navy on the deck at that time. So the report goes to the top. These 2 bastards have colluded since Beihai. Wangxia Chiwahai is an institution that is loosely and directly under the orders of the world government. If they are connected in series, they will be a force that can shake the world. Behavior must be absolutely forbidden. The bald 5 old star wiped his knife. When I agreed to join Enel, I didn't think about Doflamingo. I shouldn't have let him sit in the seat of Chiwahai. I didn't expect him to dare to directly hijack the heavenly gold as a threat. The curly-haired 5 old stars don't look very good, and Doflamingo's behavior is tantamount to hitting them in the face. But there was no way to move him, which made them feel a little suffocated. Damn Doflamingo, if you don't have the confidence to hit him, you can't attack him. If the news of the national treasure leaks out, it will cause a big mess. The key should be Doflamingo. Judging from Enel's past behavior, he is a relatively quiet one. That kid from Don Quixote's house has already destroyed many towns, and has also been linked with various underground powers or inextricably linked. He is the most vigilant. The 5 old stars don't know Doflamingo's ambition, otherwise he will definitely hit him with thunder. They won't allow someone who wants to pull the Tianlong people off the altar to hold such important information as a national treasure. Let the CP0 people go to Verslau and warn Enel. Naosu 5 old stars said. The New World finally stopped the annexation war, and it calmed down. We can no longer send a large army to break this balance. The first half of the Great Route is still very chaotic. The Chiwahai plan will speed up, and there are still 2 places to maintain a good balance of power. Status is what matters. Quote. Chiwahai are all arrogant and will not easily surrender. Enel is still the king of the alliance countries, and this action is still within the tolerable range. Flamenco contacts. What do you think of this person? Tyrant, Bashalami Shang, with a bounty of 295 million. The blonde 5 old stars took out several bounty orders. This is the one who recently applied to join Chihuahua. I prefer bears. Quote. Let the Navy dispatch a lieutenant general to test it out. The strength must be guaranteed. Don't have the situation where someone was hacked to death after selecting someone last time. That would be a blow to Chihuahua's prestige, said the 5 old stars with curly hair. That bastard Spandane is recommended by everyone. The CP agency looks like it needs to be rectified. The tone of the blonde 5 old star was light with anger. After being silent for a long time, the 5 old star Naosu said indifferently, 80% of the time, it's another benefit from someone else. Hey, it's really nothing fun. Anal was walking down the street, looking at the shops on both sides of the street, all selling some daily necessities. There are no casinos, and even bars are rarely seen. This is Dressrosa during the reign of King Riku. During the 800 years of the Riku clan's rule, Dressrosa has been in a state of peace and has never experienced a single war. Although the people do not have a prosperous life, they live and work in peace and contentment. But this peace is about to be shattered. Don Quixote Doflamingo is about to take back this country as his royal family 800 years ago, and then plunge into darkness and sin. To Anal, it doesn't matter how the people are here, but he is more looking forward to Dressrosa, which is ruled by Mingo, which is more interesting. Fed up with the sparse entertainment in the world of pirates, Enel is looking forward to the kingdom of toys. Enel's goal in life is to see all the weird and wonderful scenes in the world of pirates, and power is not his ultimate pursuit. The kingdom of toys made him yearn for it. As for the ugliness and sins hidden behind the toys and prosperity, it is not the object that Enel will pay attention to. He is the affirmation of, no matter how lofty the goal, or how ugly and dark behavior, he will not deny it. It's just that he admires the noble spirit, and ignores darkness and sin. Hey cat, this is so boring, don't you think? Carter was having a good time nibbling on a betta. Enel, when I didn't say it. Huh, who are you? Enel stopped. In front of him, there is a little girl holding a bag of grapes. Green hair and grapes on the fingers of his right hand. Wearing a speckled dress with a crown. There are also a few moving teddy bears around. The girl did not return to Enel's words, and put the grapes into her mouth one by one. A moving toy, a loli with spotted cloves, this stuff could it be Sugar? Sugar silently stretched out her right hand towards Enel. Knowing that her abilities were dangerous, Ain took a few steps back cautiously, then gave her a stern look. Shatang was frightened by Enel's suffocation, his nose twitched, his face wrinkled, and he cried out with a wow. Enel's head was full of black lines, and she felt like a strange uncle who bullied little Loli. Anal is 15 now, and Sugar is 12, not much older than her. Sugar, so you are here. Suddenly disappearing really scared me to death. Buffalo ran over panting. He was really frightened. The importance of Sugar to the Don Quixote family is self-evident. In the original book, Dressrosa was able to become a country of toys because of her ability. If it was really lost, Doflamingo would never spare him. Really, that guy from Baby 5 actually walked away as soon as someone proposed. Hey Sugar, why are you crying? That bastard dares to bully the family. I want him to look good. Buffalo was furious. Sugar's tears still didn't stop, and she pointed to the front. When Buffalo saw it, he was startled. Hey, why are you here? Oops, run with Sugar, this guy is very powerful. I can't beat him, you go first, I'll buy time, call the young master to come help. He looked at Death as if at home, although his legs were trembling with fright from Anal's stern eyes, he still stood up and stood in front of Sugar. Under the education of Doflamingo, the Don Quixote family is still very united, and it really feels like a family. Chapter 256 Dressrosa. Courageous, but totally meaningless. Enel praised. Don't underestimate me, even if I die, I won't let you hurt Sugar. Buffalo looked serious. As I said, it's completely pointless. I am not ready to turn against Doflamingo. It won't do anything to you. Why are you so afraid? Righteous appearance. He didn't even notice it himself. Just now he stared at the sugar, exuding a breath like a beast, which frightened Buffalo quite a bit. Ah, is that so? Buffalo breathed a sigh of relief. That's so good, it almost scared me to death. I'm Doflamingo's friend, of course I won't do anything to you. Enel smiled. Oh, are you looking for the young master? I'll take you to see him. No need, I'm just here to hang out, don't worry about it, Enel said. Coming to Dressrosa, Enel first wanted to witness the fall of this peaceful country, from a beautiful, peaceful and simple country to a dark arsenal of violence, noise and crime. In addition, he also wanted to kidnap Mancheri, the princess of the Dongtida clan. She is a healer with the ability to heal damage in battle. The ultimate ability can even restore everything by reducing the lifespan. Is a very useful ability. Although Enel's current recovery power is strong, it can't be recovered right away when he is seriously injured. Every time he recovers, his life force will be consumed. When the life force is reduced, the recovery force will drop rapidly. After the body is completely restored to its original state, the vitality will gradually recover until it reaches the maximum value. Although Enel's character is full of fear of death, he will not fight against such an invincible and powerful opponent. Also, the identity of Chihuahai provides him with legal protection. The possibility of his vitality dropping to freezing point is very small, but he can't make much preparations. What if there is an accidental disaster? Some lunatics can't talk. There are only one person, one cat, and one roe deer in his team, and there is not even a doctor. If there is any accident, it will be bad. Man surely can also perform group therapy. Of course, this strategic ability must be in her own hands. Okay, to kidnap the princess again. Sure enough, the princess and the dragon are the standard. Enel suddenly felt a little bit like a dragon who captured the princess and waited for the hero to slay. Hey, Sugar, do you want to continue shopping? Buffalo asked, looking at Enel's distant figure. Of course, but you have to inform the young master that the black coffin is here. Sugar stuffed a grape into her mouth. Ah, do you want to tell the young master immediately? The black coffin said it was just here to hang out. Buffalo seemed a little dull. Well, that person is a factor outside the plan. If he is left alone, it may disrupt the family's arrangement. Sha Tang understood, but understand how? He just wants to go shopping now. Hey, so should you tell the young master first? Buffalo said. Sha Tang ignored him and continued to walk forward. She just wanted to go shopping. It would be unreasonable for a child to be self-willed. Buffalo eventually felt that Sugar was more important and followed suit. Enel has always minimized his presence in the presence of those who could put his life in danger. But on the other hand, as long as the opponent can't kill him, then he will act recklessly in front of that person, a death act. Ming Jie is strong, but Enel has the confidence to escape from him. After absorbing 15 devil fruits and strengthening the power of darkness, Enel's ability to control the field was greatly enhanced. So I knew that Doflamingo was about to take action, and I didn't welcome uncertainties, so I dared to come here. No stress at all. Doflamingo stood on the dome roof of a church, looking at Enel. The face is not very good. His plan is about to unfold. Enel's strength is very strong. If he intervenes, he can completely disrupt his deployment. When Enel released his murderous aura towards the sugar on the street, he had already sensed Enel's presence. What are you doing here? Doflamingo said with a hint of dissatisfaction. What a coincidence, Dover, we meet again. Staying in Verslau is boring, and I have nothing to do to visit the nearby countries. You seem to be doing something big. Enel touched Carter's hair. Carter glared at him and seemed to say, this cat is not a pet. Like your Versace, this is my country, and I'm just here to take back what belongs to me. The Don Quixote family, the rulers of this land 800 years ago. The current Riku family, it's just a shameful thief. If the master doesn't want something, if there is no reward, the servant can't extend his hand without authorization. I don't think it's just a coincidence that you're here. Friends have to be honest, don't they? Doflamingo stared at Enel. I want the little people. Enel said. Little people. Greenbit's gang. That's my property too. Shouldn't you also pay the corresponding price? Doflamingo didn't really care about the Dantita family. The little people have a talent for cultivating plants, and the survival rate of the plants they grow will be greatly improved. But now Caesar's artificial devil fruit production has not started, and the little people are just ordinary labor for Doflamingo. What do you want? Enel asked. Are the Minahumans Doflamingo's property? It sounds ridiculous, but it's actually true. What he has is the means to use the resources of the villain. Enel's idea of attacking the Tata clan would harm Mingi's interests. I agree to join the business road you mentioned. However, I have the dominance, and countries other than Fishman Island, Versero, and Dressrosa are not allowed to continue to join. Doflamingo doesn't want his voice to be dispersed. The more countries he joins, the harder it is to control. I will give you the dominance, and there is no objection from the beginning. But you have to guarantee our right to know. One more thing, about the devil fruit, I will not give it to anyone. Devil fruits okay. Fu Yongfu happy to cooperate. Devil fruits are very rare resources, but the number of transactions is relatively small. Doflamingo is more concerned about the transportation of arms, while devil fruits are a very rare resource. Can only be regarded as a small branch in the arms. Enel's main purpose is Mancheri, and the rest of the villains are just there to cover up his real goal. And Doflamingo didn't know Manchuri's ability, otherwise he wouldn't agree to the deal. Let's go to Fishman Island together after you're done here, and discuss the specifics of the sailing under the sea. It's exactly what I want. I'm looking forward to it too. Fu Yi. For Doflamingo, controlling the course under the sea is equivalent to controlling the throat to the New World. Not only the transportation of arms and other goods, but also the pirates who poured into the New World will be under his control in this route. It is convenient for him to recruit talents. That's why he happily changed his original plan to instigate war with the surrounding countries and agreed to join Enel's plan. Chapter 257 Greenbit. After parting with Doflamingo, Enel went to Greenbit. YC, do you know the way? Carter asked. Don't worry, I have prepared a map. Roy said. This time in Dressrosa, it was equivalent to a tourist, and there was not much danger, so it also followed. A map? You don't need that kind of thing. The entire Dressrosa, including Greenbit, was within the range of Enel's vision, and the life in it, no matter how strong or weak, could be sensed by him. The densities of life on land and in the ocean are different, so he can roughly judge his position based on the distribution of life, and there is no such thing as getting lost. They leisurely crossed Dressrosa to the northern sea crossing bridge. Hey, wait for me, Lord Enel. A familiar voice came from behind. Ah! A man in a suit and a black hat ran over with a big belly and panting heavily. Enel thought this guy was a little familiar. Long time no see, Lord Enel. The visitor greeted warmly. I will entertain you before you leave Dressrosa. Please let me know if you need anything. You're Diff? Enel asked a little uncertainly. Diff has gained a lot of weight. Originally, he also had 8-pack abs. That's right, it's me. It's my honor that you still remember me. Thanks to you, my status in the family is now only under the cadres. Enel was a little surprised that this guy who was not much stronger than ordinary people was able to go all the way to the New World. And it seems to be alive and well. Diff is also an old subordinate of Doflamingo. He has been working in the Don Quixote family since he first worked with Enel 8 years ago. He has worked hard for so long, and he has achieved some results. Forget it, then you can just follow. Although he didn't need anyone else to lead the way now, Div was an old acquaintance, and Enel didn't mind pulling him. These peripheral members of the Don Quixote family, their status in the family is basically related to their performance, that is, the customers they receive. Partners of the level of Enel are generally not accessible to them, and are directly negotiated by Doflamingo. And Diff, who is in a relationship with Enel, is of course a higher status than ordinary members. Huh, why are there such thick iron bars on both sides? Roy asked in confusion. This is the place where the betta fish live, so there are railings in order to prevent them from attacking pedestrians. Diff explained. What kind of fish needs such a thick railing to protect? Roy felt a little fuss. Meow, betta, is that the one I just ate? Carter asked. Yes, but you eat juveniles. Bettas can grow very large. Anal replied. When they got to the middle of the bridge, the betta fish spotted them. Boom. A huge betta rushed out of the sea and crashed into the guardrail. The body of dozens of meters long, coupled with the huge momentum brought by that speed. Chilling. Hey, this is a fish. It's like a sea beast. Roy shouted in panic, looking at the railing that was knocked out of shape. It doesn't think it's a big deal now. It's a big deal, and this iron fence is completely useless. It's a fish, Carter said with certainty. Its eyes gleamed, and there was saliva at the corners of its mouth. He jumped into the sea with a puff. Diff was taken aback by the shock, remembering that Anal was still by his side, and calmed down. He knew that Anal was very strong and could always cooperate with their boss Doflamingo on an equal footing. Of course, a few little fighting fish would not be troublesome. Roy followed Anal's feet, pulling the corner of his trousers with one hand. He was cautious, for fear that a betta would swoosh out and swallow it. The Duyu group just collided a few times and then stopped moving. Roy bravely walked to the bridge and took a look. A large school of bettas were found floating on the sea with their belly turned upside down. The sea was stained red with blood, and there were 5 scratches on their bodies. Torn the internal organs, one blow is fatal. Needless to say, it's all Carter's masterpiece. Although the fighting fish are fierce, they are not fools. They fled under Carter's killing, and they were so disgusted by Carter's killing. Meow, it returned to the bridge contentedly, shaking its body. It has installed a lot of fighting fish in its space, and is very satisfied with the harvest of this trip. Darkness emerged from Enel's body and swept across the sea. All betta corpses were engulfed by darkness. This is also vitality, can't be wasted. Qualitative change is the accumulation of quantity. Such a little vitality will not improve him, but over the years, one day he will be able to push his strength to a terrifying level. Greenbite is a wild island. Huge flora pervades every corner. The forest was quiet, the huge plants blocked the sunlight, and the dark trees seemed to be attacked by beasts at any time. Diff followed Anal closely, walking on tiptoe, looking back from time to time. What? Neil suddenly stopped. He found that they had been surrounded. Meow, Carter protected Roy in his arms. The little things that surrounded them were nothing in Carter's eyes, but there were a few more tyrannical guys who might cause damage to Roy. What's wrong? Is there something? Diff looked around nervously. As a pirate, although he was a little blessed because of the lack of combat and sports, his instinctive vigilance was still there, and he faintly felt that something was coming in. Ha ha. 4 palm-sized figures ran fast. Before Diff could react, he was stripped. What's the matter? The clothes are stripped. Then he looked at Enel, whose clothes were still neat. There was a strange creature struggling in his hand. Look closely, it's a small man. This is the little people. Wow, help, I'm caught. The villain who was caught by Enel shouted. The villain family has a huge power that is not proportional to their size and a speed that ordinary humans can't respond to. But in front of Enel, it was nothing at all. The one who attacked him was directly caught in his hand. Enel felt like he had caught a chick. Maybe the giants look at humans the same way humans look at the little people. This experience made him feel very new. Mr. Kobo, we're here to save you. More villains rushed towards Enel, brave warriors confident enough to face any challenge. Although he is small in size, his aura is like a rainbow, and he shouted loudly for a while, which startled Diff. Then, clap clap clap. He was slapped in the soil by Enel. Chapter 258. The dragon really should grab the princess. Damn, you bastard, we won't give in. We will never give in to the evil giants. Wait, we don't just like that, we have more powerful warriors. We will never lose. Meow YC, you turned out to be a giant. Carter was surprised. Idiot, Enel rolled his eyes, do you think I look like a giant? Wow, it's so cute, like a doll. Roy hugged a villain and ravaged it in his arms. You evil creatures, get out of the territory of our Dong Ta Ta clan. Wait, are you misunderstanding something? I'm a partner of justice, I'm a good guy. Enel said. You lie, who would believe this excuse? Leo said with a righteous face. If Man Shirley was here, he would definitely think he was handsome. Provided, of course, that he ignored his bruised face. It's true. Huh, is it true? It turns out to be true, then it's fine. What, this is good, this is good. We thought you were the bad guy. Let's say it earlier, so we won't attack. Dive and Roy looked confused, so easy to believe. Meow YC is right, we are good people, Carter also believed. Where is your king? I want to pay a visit, said Enel. You won't be bad for him, will you? Leo looked at Neil vigilantly. Of course not, I'm a good man. Oh yes, you are a good person. Come with me. Leo became the leader in an instant. Greenbit underground. How is that possible? Growled a villain with a crown and long beard and white hair, you have been deceived. Enel flashed a murderous intent. He only remembered that the little people were easy to deceive, but there seemed to be people who understood. This old thing is probably the wise man among the little people. Sure enough, Ginger is still old and spicy, so it's not easy to fool. Kill him. But he said so himself. Leo, reasonably, struggled. That's fine. The villain with the crown nodded knowingly. Enel. Do the Dong Ta Ta family trust people so easily? How did they survive with such intelligence? Carter said he could lie to them 8 times. Are you the leader of the Dantata clan? Enel asked. That's right, the old man's name is Gan Chao, and he is the most senior leader of the Dongta Tower in the Kingdom of Dongta. What can you do to me? Wait, I have one more thing. Leo interrupted. Since you are a good person, you should hand over all your weapons to us. This is the rule, otherwise you will be stripped away. A gust of cold wind blew, and Diff felt cold, and he was still shirtless. I don't have a weapon. Enel spread his hands. Then there's no other way, strip them all off. Not a single piece is left. Oh. Boom, boom, bang. I really can't learn a lesson, have you forgotten everything just now? Enel knocked out all of them with one punch. Oops, I've been cheated. They're bad guys, all be on guard. Gangcho shouted. This kind of one-strand guy is also very troublesome to a certain extent. Enel originally wanted to abduct them all back to Verslow and let them do the greening work. The seaside highlands of Verslow are still barren. But this kind of stubborn and repetitive guy will only become a factor of instability. A little provocation can cause turmoil. He didn't have the patience to go on with them. Enel grabbed Man Shirley, who was running over to treat Leo. Seeing the big hand attacking her, Man Shirley let out an, ah, scream. Enel carried Diff, broke through the ground, and flew towards Dressrosa. Roy rolled over and sat on Carter. Carter dashed into the air with his unskilled moonwalk, slowly followed behind Enel. Oops, the princess has been captured. The entire Dong Ta Ta clan was in chaos. This time, he really became the dragon who robbed the princess. Damn, we were deceived. Leo struggled to stand up, looking annoyed. Although Man Shui Li is a very willful, her own way, a very bad-hearted, and a very bad-tempered princess, Leo still has to save her. Leo, don't be impatient, Bian has caught up. The bad guy can fly and is very powerful. We must first determine the princess's location, and then gather the soldiers before we can rescue him. You can treat him with peace of mind. Gancho advised. Bian ate the insect fruit of the animal system, in the form of Hufeng. Among the little people who can fly, she and Kobo are the only ones who can fly. Now that Kobo was knocked out, the task of tracking can only be entrusted to her. Relying on her small size, she hardly needs to spend any effort to cover up in the canopy stocking, and the dense leaves are her best cover. Bian felt a great responsibility. The princess who was loved by the people in the Dong Ta Ta clan was captured in front of their warrior formation. This was their mistake. Must be made up. Moreover, that giant dared to attack Princess Mancheri, which was provoking the entire Dong Ta Ta clan. Never let him go. Don't look at the Dong Ta Ta clan, who are small and cute, and they are easy to trust others. They are stupid and cute, but they are definitely gangsters. They don't mind killing people. It's not a team with Luffy, it's a good guy. Pirates are pirates. In the original book, when they caught Robin, they said, anyone who sees the true face of our Dong Ta Ta clan will never leave here alive again. According to their style of picking up clothes and then picking them up, it is probably true that killing people and killing their mouths. There's a little bug in the back, go and fix it. Anil said to Carter. Meow. Bian saw the big fat pink cat stop and stared straight at the place where he was hiding. What? Exposed. Then we can only face it. Fortunately, the terrifying giant is not there. Bian has confidence in his own strength, but the villains are a race that can kill fighting fish as prey. She is the leader of the villain clan, possessing the ability of devil fruit, which makes her combat power much higher than that of ordinary people. There is no pressure to deal with such a stupid-looking fat cat. It really is a little bug sword cat. Kill her quickly, I hate bugs. Roy urged. Meow I see. Catwalk land feet. A huge slash hit Bian directly. The latter's body is flexible and easily dodged. But her face was not good for Carter's attack, and she cut off several big trees and emptied this area. This kind of attack, as long as she is hit once, can seriously injure her. Retreat. How can it be? Princess Mancheri is still waiting. Bian raised his spear and charged straight for Carter. Chapter 259 Pale Night. Back to Dressrosa. Div stared at Mancheri in Enel's hands, wondering what he wanted her to do. Doflamingo put Div next to Enel, which also means surveillance. Don't look at Div being so respectful to Enel now, and he will definitely tell Doflamingo what he has done right away without a word. Enel didn't care either, and when Doflamingo turned around, he found out about the strategic significance of Mancheri, and he was a dumb loss. Brother Ming also talks about principles. For those whose strength can make him face up, he will not act directly and recklessly. How can the benefits of eating in the stomach be spit out? As for the Dong Ta Ta clan who rioted because they couldn't find Man Shui Li, let Ming Jie have a headache. Enel's plans always have only one final purpose, and the process is generally adaptable. Often do some useless work, or make some small mistakes. Judging from the results this time, the transaction that he and Brother Ming took the little human race as a condition was simply superfluous. But Enel didn't know at first that the little people's dead brains would make him impatient, just remembered that they were good at cheating about it. So it was originally to subdue the entire Dong Ta Ta clan. If you want to take away the entire Dong Ta Ta family, then Doflamingo is bound to be alarmed. Later, I felt that they were not compatible with myself, so I gave up the original idea, used violence directly, and arrested Mancheri. Enel prefers smart people, like Dauber to such a reckless and fearless guy. Although it's crazy, it's easy to use. As long as he has the power to make the other party fear, and makes him feel that it is good to follow him, then he will obediently help himself. In the original book, those who stood on Luffy's side were basically emotional guys. Pay attention to affection. If you use your personality to convince them and treat each other with sincerity, then you will be loyal. Enel didn't want to be so troublesome, and only the same strong people could be his partners. So far, the only person who really made him believe without reservation is Carter. Although Milo and Akutagawa Kwang Enel believed, they were still on guard when it came to their own lives. And the two of them are very similar to Enel in their attitude towards power, and both have a strong desire. They will not forget morality, but they only believe in the strong. Their ambition and desire for destruction made Enel feel a little dangerous. As for these little people, weak countries have no diplomacy. The weak just obey obediently. If it wasn't for the fact that Caesar would use them after researching the artificial devil fruits, Enel probably would have directly bloodwashed the guys who made him disliked. Enel suddenly felt that he was enveloped in a shadow. Looking up, a round object fell rapidly. Enel grabbed Roy in his hand, then kicked Carter and kicked him away. Boom! Like a cannonball strike, the ground was smashed into a spider web-like crack. Smoke and dust splashed, and a large crater appeared where Carter had fallen. The rough-skinned Carter patted the dust like a normal person and stood up. Carter's monthly steps are still not fully grasped, and mistakes are made from time to time. Enel is used to its magic falling from the sky. Every time it appeared above him, he always felt that it was intentional. But looking at its simple and honest face, it doesn't seem like it. Fixed. Cat. Meow, let's go. I didn't last through the 3 knives, and I cut it in half. Carter took out a 10-meter-long betta and pointed to Diff. The latter understands that, anyway, they have worked together for more than a year, and there is still a tacit understanding. Cat, don't eat it, take this guy to Verslow as soon as possible. Meow. Carter wondered. This guy is very important, take good care of it. Just go back and let the chef in the palace do it. Carter was a little disappointed. He couldn't eat the delicious betta fish that was cooked right away. He had to endure it until Verslow. Enel approached Man Shirley, released his momentum, and said fiercely, "Don't think about running away. If you dare to run away, I will kill all the Dong Ta Ta clan." Yes, yes, Man Shirley was startled by Enel and started to cry. Tears flowed uncontrollably. Seeing such a crying little man, Enel became anxious. The bottle, where's the bottle? These tears can't be wasted, good stuff. Enel could feel the majestic vitality in the tears. This can be used as a blood recovery potion. A few bottles during the battle can make the opponent depressed to death. It's a pity that Man Shui Li is a small human race. I don't know how long it takes to cry to fill a bottle. It would be great if it was a giant race. Enel is a little sorry. Carter left Dressrosa with Roy and Mancherry. Enel has Carter's life card, so don't worry about finding your way. Versloss and Dressrosa were very close, and with the direction, Enel could fly back directly. The sun went down and darkness enveloped the earth. When the moon rose silently into the sky, a silvery white light spread over the earth. Beautiful waves of light rolled over the sea. In the haze, with silence. Under the moonlight, the palace looked pale and dead. Nightmares are also coming quietly. Hummed over, let me see your performance. The stage play of the Joker. Enel sat on the city wall. Yi Young, it will be wonderful. Puppet show, do you like it? Doflamingo burst out laughing. After experiencing countless hardships, struggling with hunger and poverty, growing up in blood and killing. Destroy everything, the raging fire of evil, bury everything that has passed. The past is just a memory. Now he wants to take back what belongs to him step by step. The future is still shrouded in a dark fog. He will use his own hands to pull down those who dare to humiliate him. Pain, we need to share, right? The thin line pulled him down and slid down, and after bending an arc, Doflamingo sat exactly on the windowsill of King Riku's bedroom. King Riku was lying on the bed, as if he had some nightmare. His expression was painful. He struggled, suddenly startled. Sweat soaked his clothes and fear gripped his soul. Breathing heavily, the cool wind blowing outside the window relaxed his tense nerves. So it's a dream. Is it really just a dream? More like a harbinger of the future. He suddenly saw a man with leaf-shaped sunglasses and pink feathers sitting on the windowsill. The feathers on the coat swayed in the wind. King Riku's bedroom is more than 10 meters high, and it is impossible for ordinary people to come up directly from here. The ominous foreboding intensified. He shouted, "Who are you?" This man who appeared here like a ghost made him panic. There was a frightening aura like a ghost from his body. Don't be so loud, and don't ask anyone to come. A low, flat voice came from Doflamingo's mouth. Plain as water, but with unquestionable determination. His demeanor was like that of an aloof king giving orders to his subjects. Naturally, but with a twist. I'm Don Quixote da Flamingo, just got back, the rightful king of this country. Chapter 260 Sin, for the leader, do not understand tilde ye, plus more. Threatened by Doflamingo, King Riku begins his quest to collect Bailey. Fighting, sounding, isn't, killing, what human beings should do. The struggle of mankind has never stopped. The villains were persecuting, the king was still innocent, and the general chose silence. The soldier's weapon became the decoration of the honor guard. Killing is wild. That is the deepest nature of every human being. Fighting and fighting will never go away. As long as there are thoughts, as long as there will be collisions and disputes. The king bent his knees and lowered his head. Dignity has been abandoned, and behind the ugliness, is incomparably noble. In order to raise the 10 billion bellies that bought Dressrosa from Doflamingo, the orthodox king, King Riku roared, shouted, and blocked everything he had. Using the reputation accumulated by their Riku family for 800 years as a guarantee, let the people willingly take out their savings without knowing it. The child took out his pocket money. With confidence on the innocent face, I believe in the king. One after another, like 100 rivers entering the sea, they gathered into the palace. Tears of excitement flowed out. This is the fame of their family for 800 years. This is the blossoming of the brilliance of humanity that has been shining for 800 years. What an amazing country. This country can definitely be saved. Cyrus praised the power of the human heart. Yang 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 yang. The whispers of the demons echoed, and the twisted violence of hatred condensed sin. Doflamingo had no intention of keeping his promise at all, it was just a trap, a plot to replace humanity with sin. Silk threads fell from the sky, entwining people. Body, out of control. Like a puppet, being manipulated. Hand clenched the sword. Raised, swung down. Blood spurted. Tears filled. Not the excitement and gratitude of the gang just now, but the sadness, resentment, regret and despair. Ah 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 ah. A heart-wrenching cry rang out. The wounded were in pain. They couldn't believe that the king, whom they loved so much, actually pointed the sword at the people. The wounded are in pain, even if they are ridiculed by the world, the king who does not want his people to suffer from war, but wields a butcher's knife with his own hands. Wah 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 wah, only the black hand behind the scenes was laughing loudly. Hem your lives, all except them. Enel wouldn't point his claws at innocent civilians, but he wouldn't be disturbed by their deaths either. He is like a vulture, where there is death, he will fly to where the smell is. Death is his feast, singing the passing of life, plundering the last vitality in the bones. He was like a lonely traveler, watching all this happen with cold eyes. The darkness spread like a carpet, covering half of the kingdom. The corpse and blood disappeared into the surging darkness. The king's army slaughtered everywhere, and in the crowd, Enel was like a rock, and all the people consciously scattered from both sides when they encountered him. The soldiers understood why the king was uncharacteristically. Because they are the same. It's all involuntarily, the desperation that can't be resisted, makes them terrified. Hey 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 hey, is it almost there, Dover? When the army swept the streets like locusts crossing the border, 4 people stood on the tower and watched. Torapal reminded Doflamingo aloud. It's not enough, to make the whole country be surrounded by fear and shock, when they resent King Riku from the bottom of their hearts, it's time for heroes to appear. Pirates want to be heroes. Just don't know. Enel's rule over Verslow was a simple reign of terror, and he did not focus on managing power like Doflamingo did. However, because of his tyrannical power, he inexplicably gained a group of supporters. The Don Quixote family's plans have come to an end. 3 senior cadres suppressed the king's army. There is also a bright future for Les Rosa. The citizens chanted Doflamingo's name, sang and regarded him as a hero. And King Riku was swept into the dust of history, bearing all the infamy and guilt. He has become a sinner in this country. A one-legged soldier ran past Enel with a pink-haired little girl in a fancy dress. In that instant, the girl's eyes met Enel's, and then separated quickly. Great fear enveloped the girl's heart. It was the fear of death and darkness. Her young heart left an indelible wound. Today, her country is in chaos, and her mother is gone. All her relatives left her. She has lost everything. Those eyes had become her nightmare, and in this turbulent and chaotic night, Enel was the most terrifying thing she had ever seen. Even the blood-soaked, hideous-looking soldiers with distorted faces and corpses with unwillingness and resentment couldn't compare with them. All these misfortunes in Enel's eyes were linked together in her heart. Until many years later, those slightly scarlet and different pupils will still appear in her memories. If Enel found out, he must have felt wronged. He was just a spectator, and he was just touching a corpse. So slippery, can you run so fast on one foot? Enel probably understood the identities of the two. Feeling the trembling of the girl in his arms, Cyrus asked with concern, "What's the matter with you, Rebecca?" "It's so scary, I'm so scared." "It's all right, it'll be all right." On the other side of the strait, in the forests of Greenbit, the ant's body was also found. Eyes wide open, disbelief on his face. His body was cut in two from the left chest to the right abdomen. The curved spear fell to the side. Damn it! Leo beat the ground with his fists in pain. The huge force knocked out a big hole in the ground. Kobo held the ant's body with a sad expression on his face. "I will definitely rescue Princess Mancherry," Leo murmured to himself, as if swearing. In the ruins, Dressrosa was reborn from the ashes. Darkness hides light. Simplicity and friendliness are a thing of the past. The future Dressrosa will be ruled by the Don Quixote family. Become a bustling commercial center. Interests become the center of everything: crosscurrent, traffic lights and green wine. "Hey Monet, give me a cup of coffee, I'll add 3 milk candies." Enel spent a week eating and drinking here. "Baby 5, buy me an ice cream, I want a bigger one." Monet was the secretary. She often brought tea and water to Doflamingo, and by the way, she would also bring a copy to Enel. And Baby 5 is purely bullying. "Say anything." "Hey, how long are you going to stay here, kid?" Torapal kept looking at Neil unpleasantly. "Don't be so stingy, it's just eating a little of your food. See how calm Doflamingo is. This is the gap between you and his temperament." Enel gave him a look of contempt. "Huh, is it?" Buffalo wondered. "He's talking nonsense," Sugar replied. Buffalo blinked, and he almost believed it. "Ah, more than that. Your kid's expenses are very high." Torapal got close. Enel took a few steps back and shrugged. "It's just a little bit of damage to the artwork. That kind of flashy stuff doesn't work at all." Monet picked up the notebook and said seriously, "In the past few days, you have caused 13,265,820 Bailey's losses to the family." PFF'd, Enel spit out a sip of coffee, cough. He was choked. "Monet, you don't need to remember such details, do you? Brother, pay the bills clearly, remember to pay when you leave. For the sake of your being a guest of the young master, you don't need the fraction, but only 13.4 million. Monet used a quill pen to write a few strokes on the notebook. "Hey, why is the price going up again? The coffee you just sprayed stained the carpet. This is high-end stuff." "Enel,